doing?
What you talking about? What am I doing?
You reading them nasty books again, right, Myron?
Everybody reading those nasty books, man. You scared the hell out of me. What you talking about, man? Well, I ain't did that in about 2 weeks.
You called yesterday 2 weeks. What you reading? What you reading?
You scared the goddamn book, man. Dr. EnQi. I went on Amazon and got 3 Dr. EnQi books because I'm reading about melatonin and biochemistry.
What is, Myron, that's not even a, first of all, it's not melatonin and whatever it is that you just said. It's melanin and biochemistry. You can't even pronounce the word, so how you reading? How you reading, Myron?
I'm not looking at the pictures. I know I look at the pictures. I got the books right here. I'm looking at the pictures. You know, this ain't nothing nasty about this. So what you talking about? I got all the books right here. What you talking about?
Myron, you don't even know how to read. Every time we get mail, you bring it to me. You think I don't know that?
I was hooked on Phoenix. Now, what you talking about? I was hooked on Phoenix, so I know how to read.
As of when? As of when? Because first of all, hooked on phonics, I believe it's for kids. There's no such thing as hooked on Phoenix. And if I recall, you're the same person that thought reindeer was pronounced reinder, and you're the same person that thought pigeon was pronounced piggion. So it makes sense that you went to hooked on Phoenix.
Man, such a dumbass.
No,
you always trying to say somebody can't read. I know exactly what I'm talking about, man. I'm reading the books. I got the book. I got the goddamn receipt right here. I got the goddamn receipt right here for the books. What you talking about?
Well, you need to return them for somebody who know how to read them. And I still don't. It's probably all type of stuff in the inside of the books, Myron. That's how sneaky you are. Give me the books. Give me the books, Myron.
Hell no.
Give me the books, Myron. Give me the books, Myron.
I'm not giving you. No, I got these books off Amazon. I'm not giving you the books. Ain't that no?
Yeah, well, bye. Bye.
I've been in this game. Yeah. You're animals to the shit. Animal, baby.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely all the way out of sorts. I am definitely feeling like I have not went live in 100 years. Peace to the ones. Now, let's get something. No hands around. Oh, there we go. Peace to the chat. It's been longer than usual since the last live. Man, listen. I need y'all support. The devil been busy. So you cannot get The Rise of the Black Culture Vultures book anymore. I don't think that book is available anymore. So hopefully y'all got the book. You know, my mom was in the emergency room. You know, so I had some issues with that. And my little brother, my adopted little brother, right? My adopted little brother hits me up. And so okay, so I'm trying not to get emotional. So I'm writing a book. No surprise there, right? I'm working on a book about heart disease, right? Because remember, that's where we at in the mission statement. And maybe I'm not talking to y'all, maybe I'm talking to myself out loud. But because I haven't really talked to anybody the past 8 days. People been calling me. I just, they've just been going to voicemail or text. So shout out to the patient folks. I have some people that they hit refund on orders because they hadn't seen me on YouTube. Like as if because I'm not on YouTube, that means I'm dead, right? But I don't know. I guess yeah, we live in a short attention span universe. But so I'm working on the book for heart disease because that's where we was at in the mission, right? We had put basically we put diabetes in a body bag. And so we kind of moved on to heart disease. Like, we wanted to deal with the big fish, the elephant in the room. So anyway, as I'm going through my normal 1s and 2s, my little bro hits me up, my adopted little brother, and says his liver's failing. He sends me a picture with his face looking crazy and his eyeballs like, looking crazy. This is in the middle of me writing this book on heart disease. So, that immediately brings to mind, like, because I done lost a lot of friends already. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's that. You know what I'm saying? And, I kind of like, listen, this is what this is what we're going to do. Blah, 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 blah. 1, 2, 3. But it was still, still weighing on me. Inside of 36 hours, the only other boy that my mom had 2 boys, 2 sons. Inside of 36 hours from that call, my little brother died from opioids, right? Opioid related death. So that was pretty much, yeah, that was pretty much it. That was a tough one for me to take. That was a tough one to take on the chin. Yeah, that was a tough one to take on the chin. Right. So that's where I've been. You know what I'm saying? So if it feels like I've been going for a long time, like it's only really been it's only been like a week or so. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe 7, 8, 9, 7, 8 days, something like that. But for me, it feels like I've been offline for a year. Feels like I've been offline for a year. Like I came in disheveled. I'm still a little disheveled with setting up stuff and boop, boop, boop. Yeah. But I mean, you know, I had already been working on the book, right? I had already been working on the book. So I just kind of used the book, right? I just stayed in the book. You know, I stayed in the book. I didn't come out of the book. I stayed in the book. And so there's probably way too much. It's probably way too much stuff in the book. So if you get the book, right, which is a really important book, right? So it's a really important book in terms of battle against heart disease, but I went through a lot in the course of that book, right? And yeah, it's probably too much personal information in the book. Thinking back, I probably put too much stuff in the book. So, but what did I miss? What did I miss? The carnivore diet? People been asking me to talk about so many different things. Like people was asking me to talk about Mike Tyson, about the Mike Tyson fight. Magabo wants me to talk about the carnivore diet. People are claiming to reverse diseases by going fully carnivore. Well, here's what I'll say about the carnivore diet. And I think I kind of spoke on it probably at least like 27,000 times already. Right? Okay, so Meek Mill, right? Meek Mill said it's levels to this thing here, right? Meek Mill said it's levels to this thing. When it comes to diet and nutrition, it's levels to this thing, right? So the biggest reason that the biggest thing that hinders people from getting focused and just sticking to a program is people are so far below where they need to be. Any benefit that they see from something, any benefit, they take that as a reference that what they're doing is the thing that they should be doing. Right? When people don't realize how, like if I put the average person on any kind of diet, right? Say for instance, I walk down to Burger King or White Castle or McDonald's or anywhere. And, I take a poll and I find whoever's the most, I ask people who eats the most fast food in a week or whatever the case may be. And I just take the average person and I put them on, let's say, a chicken breast diet, right? And, 3 times a day, the person's going to have chicken breast and, some chicken breast and broccoli and, chicken breast, broccoli, and maybe a smoothie, right? Chicken breast, broccoli, and smoothie, right? 3 times a day, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're going to have chicken breast, broccoli, and a smoothie of their choice. The only stipulation with the smoothie is that they have to make it at home themselves, right? Chicken breast, broccoli, and smoothie is going to be so much more nutritious, right, than what they're currently eating. Within 72 hours, they're going to notice a lot of stuff in their body changes, because guess what? Now that they're on this diet, what they're not doing is they're not having sodas, they're not having fast food, they're not having the chemicals, the greases. There's so many things that they've eliminated. Are they eating the optimum diet? No. They're probably still eating way too much. You know, they're not, that's nowhere near the optimum diet, right? But it's a lot better than what they was doing. So they're going to take the improvement as, okay, this is the blueprint, right? So that's a level to understanding the mass confusion, right? The other thing is, the bigger thing associated with the conversation is 99% of people they're living in a delusional, they're self-delusional, right? Self-delusional. And I give you an example, right? It's not a real example, it's just a hypothetical. I'm gonna use myself as the first person in the example, right? I want to make some food with some, I'm on a health kick. And so I want to get the healthiest, oil to fry my food in. Right? I'm making some fried chicken or fried whatever. So I want to get the healthiest oil to fry my meat or whatever. So I go on the internet. It tells me olive oil is amazing. It starts showing me pictures of 60-year-old, people with amazing looking skin and blah, blah, blah. And oh yeah, they drinking olive oil, straight, 2 times a day, and they're putting it on their salad and blah, blah, blah. So now in my mind, I'm like, okay, olive oil must be crazy. So I keep searching it. And I look and I see that when I Google all these benefits, and olive oil has all these benefits and da 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 da. Bet. So now I go to the supermarket. I'm buying olive oil to come back and fry my food, my fish, chicken, whatever. The problem with that is I'm delusional, right? Where is the delusion coming in? The delusion comes in is because when I researched olive oil, all of the benefits associated with olive oil was with olive oil consumed raw, right? None of that had to do with fried olive oil, right? When the people was looking young with the tight skin, they're drinking shots of raw olive oil, right? But what I did, my delusional state, I just said, oh, so it must be the same. It must be the same. It must carry over. So that's exactly what's happening with a lot of people when it comes to these carnivore conversations, right? Because what John Q. Public is going to do is they're going to extrapolate the information from these people doing these carnivore diets, right? And they're going to go, okay, yeah, I knew I should be eating meat, right? Or most of them are maybe borderline, and they're trying to decide what they should do, and they're like, okay, there's a lot of information on the vegan side, and so they're trying to watch debates and arguments and da 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 da. And so they start to see some of this carnivore stuff pop up, and they see Liver King Liver King, he championed this whole carnivore thing, right? And so they see Liver King and they go, oh yeah, look at these carnivore people and look at Liver King and blah, 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 blah. Delusional. Liver King has been exposed multiple times for using more steroids than your current bodybuilders that are professional bodybuilders. He makes way more money eating raw meat and being a online bodybuilder than somebody does in the bodybuilder contest. Now, why that's important is because you need to be able to afford the steroids, the blood work, the online, or the 24/7 doctors to monitor what's going on with you on the inside in order to be able to live like that. He's probably carrying a $5,000 or more steroid, So all of these things that have nothing to do with what you should be eating or nutrition or any of that, all of those things get downloaded into John Q. Public's mind in terms of whether they should go vegetarian or go vegan, right? And where the ultimate level of nutrition delusion comes in is because we use terms like carnivore and don't mean them, right? We use terms like carnivore and don't mean them. And I want to say maybe 12 years, maybe 10 years ago. Yeah, maybe about 10 or 12. I don't know. It's been a minute. Maybe about 10 years ago. I was in Miami. Shout out to Jimmy. And we came up with a new term live on the spot, right? Because, and I'll get to the actual benefits of carnivore and all this stuff in a second. But let me say this. I'm 47, right? I'm 47. In my 47 years, and I've been around, right? I've been around. I've lived in America. Like, I haven't been around the world, but America, like American Black folks, like I've lived or spent extensive amounts of time all over this country, right? Hood to hood to hood to hood. I'm very qualified to speak on American Black folks, right? Which is one of the things that, we start off the book, The End of Heart Disease, with is heart disease is the blackest disease of them all, right? Heart disease is the blackest disease of them all, right? We've been approaching all of these Black issues, diabetes, fibroids, STD, this one, that one, this one, systematically. But heart disease is the blackest disease of them all, right? So having spent time in all of the hoods, Texas hoods, Florida hoods. I was down in Florida hoods before folks knew it was hoods in Florida, like, the Carolinas, LA. You know what I'm saying? I've been out in the LA hoods, right? You know what I'm saying? I got family out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've never, ever, ever, I've never witnessed it. I'm not saying that they don't exist, because now with the internet, people are doing a lot more things, right? Experimenting with different stuff. But I'm saying in my life, right? I've never, ever seen a Black person that was a carnivore. Never. I've never, ever seen a Black person that was a carnivore. Now, mind you, I come from a meat-eating family. Listen to what I'm trying to explain to you. I'm talking about meat-eating family. The only meat that I've never eaten, right, as a kid, I just had a natural aversion to chitlins. So I never ate chitlins, right? I never ate chitlins. But you can forget about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I come from a meat eating family. You know, the ham on Thanksgiving is more important than the turkey. The ham is more important than the turkey, right? Because you always got somebody giving away turkeys. It's going to be some turkey floating around. But the ham, Thanksgiving ham was more important than the turkey, right? Thanksgiving chitlins was like a sanctioned divine, like if nothing else, if the family couldn't afford nothing else, it was going to be chitlins and macaroni and cheese. Like, it was going to be some chitlins involved. I never, ever, 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 never, not one time have I ever ate chitlins. I'm so proud to be able to say that. I didn't know as a child, I didn't know. I think it was God, like God has had his hand on me since forever. Like when I look back, God has always had his hand on me, right? God's got his hand kind of on everybody, but like, how there's a difference. Like you could touch somebody on the shoulder, but you know how you could grip up. God had me like, so I never had chitlins, right? But my point is, I'm from a real meat eating family, but not one single carnivore in my family. I've never met a carnivore that was a Black person, right? I've never met a carnivore, right, that was a Spanish person. I've never, ever in my life. Now, mind you, growing up in the Bronx, right, it's more Puerto Ricans in New York. At least when I was growing up, it was more Puerto Ricans in New York than in Puerto Rico. I never met a carnivore, right? So there's a delusion that circulates where people will justify their own addictions, right? People will do anything to justify their addictions, right? And obviously, with my brother passing last week and me writing the book, addiction has factored in very heavily into this book. So the book wind up being, outside of my pain and my tears, right? The book wind up being, a lot more stuff is in the book than probably what I not probably what I was, because I'm writing the book on heart disease, and then my adopted little brother liver situation. So now I got a whole chapter in the book I'm writing on liver disease and blah, 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 right? So this is addition. I wasn't planning on putting that in the book, but since he hit me up, I'm like, okay, well, get this and this and this and this and this. I'm in the middle of a book. I'm going to throw this in here also. So you had this as a reminder, blah, 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 blah. This is going to go into this and this. And then my actual little brother passed. And then so now addiction and all of these kind of things with opioids and alcohol and all of these other things fit into the book. And, I guess, it's God's will how, so there's a lot more in the book, right? But with the carnivore situation, right? Just like anything else, we justify our own BS by any means necessary, right? So there's a lot of people that will watch the carnivores, and then they'll use that as an excuse so that they can have turkey and cheese sandwiches. They'll use that as an excuse so that they can eat fried chicken or baked chicken breasts or, baked turkey, because baked turkey and baked chicken breasts is the best. This is a clean meat. I'm eating clean meat. And carnivores do not eat cooked meat. in any shape, form, or fashion. Carnivores don't eat cooked meat at all. Right? A carnivore does not eat cooked meat. So there's no person that can extrapolate any information from a carnivore diet to them that I know, right? Because everybody that I know eat cooked meat. Now, hold on one second.
Myron!
Hey,
Myron!
what?
What are you doing? What you doing?
What you talking about? What am I doing?
You reading them nasty books again, right, Myron?
Everybody read no nasty books, man. You scared the hell out of me. What you talking about, man? Wait, I ain't did that in about 2 weeks. What
You
talking
called yesterday too. What you reading? What you reading?
You scared the goddamn book, man. Dr. EnQi. I went on Amazon and got 3 Dr. EnQi books because I'm reading about melatonin and biochemistry. Biochemistry.
What is, Myron, that's not even a, first of all, it's not melatonin and whatever it is that you just said. It's melanin and biochemistry. You can't even pronounce the word, so how you reading? How you reading, Myron?
I'm not looking at the pictures. I know I look at the pictures. I got the books right here. I'm looking at the pictures. You know, it ain't nothing nasty about this. So what you talking about? I got all the books right here. What you talking about?
Myron, you don't even know how to read. Every time we get mail, you bring it to me. You think I don't know that?
I was hooked on Phoenix. Now, what you talking about? I was hooked on Phoenix, so I know how to read.
As of when? As of when? Because first of all, hooked on phonics, I believe it's for kids. There's no such thing as hooked on Phoenix. And if I recall, you're the same person that thought reindeer was pronounced reender, and you're the same person that thought pigeon was pronounced piggion. So it makes sense that you went to hooked on Phoenix.
Man, such a dumbass.
No,
you always trying to say somebody can't read. I know exactly what I'm talking about, man. I'm reading the books. I got the book. I got the goddamn receipt right here. I got the goddamn receipt right here for the books. What you talking about?
Well, you need to return them for somebody who know how to read them. And I still don't.
All right. So that was my mom calling me right there. So here's the thing with the carnivore situation, right? So we got 2 parts of this conversation that I done went through already. Let me bring them back to your memory because I've been talking and all over the place a little bit, right? So the first thing is most people's diet is so devoid of nutrition and full of toxins that any focused diet is going to give them benefit. That's number 1. Number 2, 99% of the people that eat meat, animal flesh, that try to use carnivore anything as an excuse or as an explanation or as a justification are only fooling themselves because carnivores don't eat cooked meat, right? Lions don't eat baked meat, right? Lions don't eat fried, baked, sauteed meat. Like lions don't eat cooked meat, right? So that right there knocks out like 99.99999% of the conversation, right? Now, if we go back to the first part of the conversation and we use that and examine the people that are experimenting with eating raw meat, right? Raw meat, right? Because there are people that are watching, like I said, Liver King and some of these other guys, Frank Tofano and some of these other folks. They're getting better. Let me say getting better, right? Because I don't believe, that's my personal opinion, I don't believe that they're getting well or getting healed, right? Because if you're not addressing mental illness, that's not healing. You might be getting better because you might have been in a worse condition. You might have been bad off and now you start getting better, right? But I don't believe it's possible to do, for me, this is just my opinion, right? Now I have to keep saying that because I don't want people to, like, I just think it's let me see. Let's move. Let me get back. I'm out of shape online right now. I feel like I'm out of shape right now, but let me show you what I'm saying. Because for me, this is mental illness, right? It's mental illness, and it's like psychotic in a sense, because you got to remember, people will straddle the fence. People will straddle the fence in terms of what's legal, right? So for me, if I see somebody, right, that's eating raw brains, right? Raw brains. If I see somebody eating brains, that's mental illness. For me, that's my opinion. That's mental illness because you're straddling the fence. And listen, I'm happy that you're straddling the fence on the legal side because the urge is to eat human brains, right? But you're going to go with the closest thing you can go with in the legals, So for me, it's mental illness, right? Let me show you what I'm saying, right? So let's take a look, right? Let's take a look and see. Let me show you what I'm saying, right? So now, first of all, right? See, this is all mental illness for me. That's all I see when I see something like this. Now, everybody has different opinions. And remember, your opinion is largely based on where you're from and your personal experiences and all of that. And we'll get to the why in just a second. Yeah, see, that's mental illness right there for me. Right? That's all bad for me. So let's clarify again. Let's clarify again. Let's get right with this again. Right? So unless you're eating raw meat, you're not eating a carnivore diet, right? Carnivores do not eat cooked meat. That is a lie that you have been sold over the years. There's a lot of brainwashing that we have been accepted over the years. And, it may not come out of me tonight, right? It may not come out of me tonight, but, there's a lot more truth telling that that has to go on. There's a lot more truths that have to go on because there's a lot of levels of brainwash that we've been sold. There's a lot of levels of brainwash that we've been sold that you don't understand. Rituals that you may be participating in on a regular basis that you don't understand are satanic rituals. Like you may not understand what you've been doing, right? Just because it's a norm of society, right? So we're gonna put that on the side for a second, right? So just understand there's no such a thing as a carnivore that eats cooked meat, right? What we just saw, most of the people watching this video was repulsed by, right? Most of the people automatically, you got a knee jerk, you know, like yo, EnQi, you should have prepared us for that. Like, why'd you put that on? Like, that's now he has more stuff. He got videos where he crack open the skull and he pretends to put on the animal skulls before he eats them, and all kinds of ritualistic craziness, right? Ritualistic craziness, right? But that is what a carnivore is. So I have to make sure I say that. As insane as I personally think it is, that is what a carnivore is. A carnivore is eating raw meat. There's no fire touch that. That brain right there came right out of the animal. They put it in a plastic container, and he got that fresh from the butcher, right? Butchers have an entirely different clientele than John Q. Public. John Q. Public does not shop at the butcher shop. I've never, once again, going back to my personal life experiences, I've never, ever, 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 ever experienced anybody, Black community, Spanish community, buying meat from the butcher shop. I've never experienced that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm saying in my life, I've never experienced that. All meat comes from the supermarket, right? People going to the butcher shop, they're planning on spending a lot more money. People going to the butcher shop usually are going to be closer to a carnivore space, or shout out to Brian. Brian is a big white guy that I used to work with at Verizon, right? Brian was my right-hand man. You know what I'm saying? But Brian, me and Brian used to have these food debate conversations all the time. We worked together, so we'd take lunch together, and Brian would like his meat bloody all the time. Like, period. No, he still got his stuff cooked though. So technically he didn't qualify as a carnivore, but he was all the way as whatever that highest level of rare is, like it's well done, then it's medium rare, and then it's whatever is the lightest one. That's how he like it. He just want a little bit of fire on it, just a little bit of fire on it, right? But I'm sure that Brian would not have a problem eating raw meat, because the stuff that I saw him eat in front of me was crazy, right? So that's as close as I've seen in person. You know what I'm saying? But again, I've never seen anybody from my community do what we just witnessed right there. Okay. Now, to get more into the specifics and the particulars, right? Inside your body, different organs, right? Every different organ you have is basically a different type of cells, right? And the type is not based on the physical makeup of the cell. The type is based on the job that the cell has to perform being a part of that tissue, right? So a liver cell and a lung cell is not different in terms of their construction per se, but they're different in terms of the day-to-day job that they have to do, right? Lungs process gas, liver cells process fat, right? So with that being said, the cells stockpile and concentrate different vitamins, minerals, etc., fats, antioxidants, this, that, and the other. So depending on the type of meat you eat, right, it's going to determine the concentration of nutrients that's in that particular meat, right? So if you're eating muscle meat, right? Muscle meat like thighs or breast, right? There's a set of nutrients that's associated with that, right? If you get to the liver or the heart or the brain. There's a different nutrient set associated with that, right? Common sense. You know, you can, okay, well, the brain is 60% fat. Okay, cool. So you can get healthy fats from eating brains, right? The liver has to constantly regenerate itself, right? So you can get a lot of vitamin A from eating livers, right? So go back to the first part of the conversation. If I have a diet that is, you know, and I'm not even gonna factor in like stuff like cigarettes, alcohol, and things that all the way across the board we know we shouldn't have, right? But if I'm eating white bread or cheap wheat bread, which is basically colored white bread, you know, Chinese food, pizzas, and just low quality food, devoid of nutrition, right? And then I switched to a carnivore diet, right? Well, 9.9 out of 10 times, if I have a mind that will allow me to eat hearts raw, if I have a mind that will allow me to eat brains raw, right? I'm going to see benefit from that because the raw hearts and brains and livers is much more nutritious than ramen noodles, right? The hearts and the livers is much more nutritious than a triple, you know, White Castle or you know, Checkers or, right? Even if I go, even if you already a meat eating person, right? And you're used to eating a lot of supermarket stuff, right? So say for instance, you are one of the people that maybe you think you already eating healthy, right? So, you know, oh, I don't eat no red meat. You know, I hear this a lot. I don't eat no red meat. You know, I just eat, you know, chicken and fish and, you know, eggs and chicken and fish, you know, okay, cool. So you don't eat no red meat. You just eat chicken and fish, whatever. That's muscle stuff. Most nutrition is not even going to be concentrated there. Not to mention you buying it from the supermarket, which means that those animals been killed a long time ago. They long past rigor mortis. They're using chemicals and things like that to make it seem like the meat is still viable and fresh. You know, it's got rat, you know, most of the meat that you buy from the supermarket has rat shit in it, right? That's legal, FDA standard. FDA standard allows a certain amount of rat shit in every package of meat. That regardless to whether you're getting red meat, chicken, it doesn't matter. Period. No matter how expensive it is in the supermarket, because rat shit is rampant in the meat and the packaging factories, almost every package of meat is going to have that in there. So, and then it's legal too, up to, I think like 8, up to visibility, pretty much, right? Up to visibility, it's legal for rat shit to be in the meat, right? So there's that, right? So when you go from eating that low quality stuff, right, where you're cooking most of the vitamins and antioxidants and nutrition, whatever is left, right? Because if they kill that animal in June, put him on ice, chemicaling him down and boo, 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 and you don't buy that till November, and then you cook it at high temperature, whatever the case may be, yeah, there's no, you know, there's very little nutrition in there. There's very little nutrition in there, right? Notice I haven't discussed protein because protein is, you know, protein is not a myth, but there is myth associated with protein, right? So protein is not a myth. We need protein, but America doesn't have a protein deficiency problem. America has a overconsumption of protein problem, right? So the skinniest person and the fattest person are getting still way too much protein in their diet. That's a whole nother topic. So protein's off the table. Nobody's walking around protein deficient unless they're some type of super athlete and they working out like a wild person. Like nobody's protein deficient. That's a myth, right? But so when you go from cooked, low quality meats to raw meat, you don't eat raw meat from the supermarket, right? Now you're getting high quality, fresh cut. When you go to the butcher shop to get your meat, chances are that animal was killed at the least within the last 3 days, last 2 days, right? And, you know, I'll just leave it there. But the animal was killed recently. And so they're going to make sure that those animals that they're cooking or they're selling in that way are not as sickly as the animals that go to the supermarket. So that's another thing, right? The sickly animals that are on a lot of different medications and drugs and all that kind of stuff, those animals go this way. There's a price that the people that raise animals get for those animals that's a lot lower than the price that they get for the animals they send to the butcher, right? So they take their best animals and send them to the butcher, right? Because they know people are going to eat those with, not much cooking. There's not going to be much chemical additives, preservatives. People are going to cook those like they're expecting to cook that. So the same steak, for instance, that you might get from the supermarket, and even in the supermarket, it might be expensive. So you might go get you a high quality steak from the supermarket, $20, right? $30. Okay, cool. If you try to go get that same cut of steak from the butcher, that same cut of steak from the butcher might cost you $85. It might cost you $95. This is per steak, right? Per steak. So the quality is way different. So hopefully we got that explained, right? So now, why is it that a person that's sick would get better eating raw meat? Well, because they're going from getting almost no nutrition in their diet to actually getting nutrition in their diet, right? So they just went from a diet of plastic food, basically, styrofoam food, to actual food, right? So, of course, their body's going to respond. In raw meat, you have enzymes that are not present in a White Castle's burger or a McDonald's burger or a fake French fry, right? And you got some vitamins and some. Now, does that mean that a carnivore diet is better than a vegan diet? Absolutely not. So that's where the next level of nutrition comes in, right? Not only the next level of nutrition, but highlighting the self-delusion, right? The self-delusion. Almost all of the nutrition that's packed away in the tissues, whether it's the muscle meat or the organs of the animal, right? It has a plant source. It has a plant source, unless we're talking about something like vitamin D, right? If we're talking about vitamin D, you have to realize, and see, there's really no way post Kamala, post my little brother passing, that we don't have a vampire conversation. There's no way we don't have a vampire / cannibal conversation if we're discussing this. At least I have to put that on wax so that people that are listening, you know, they have a much more full picture, right? We didn't have this type of ideology floating around in the public, right? So a lot of these things have become popular at the same time. We just have been in our own world asleep, but we haven't realized that the eating raw meat, along with the transgender, along with the PDF files, like the man boy, the Nambla, and like, I'm not saying that these people did not exist, right? What I'm saying is being day walkers, like coming out in the daytime and saying, hey, this is what it is. And we getting ready to put some laws in the books. And we want to have restaurants that serve, you know, raw hearts and raw brains. And like, we want to be able to go to the restaurant and eat a raw, you know, brain. Like we want to go to a restaurant and we want to have an animal, and we want to be able to listen to what I'm telling you. This is a far rabbit hole, right? You got to understand temptation, how temptation works. You get sold on a small idea, right? And the idea you get sold on is a very small perspective of a much larger thing. You are never made aware of the larger play at hand, right? You're just sold the small idea, and you don't realize what you're buying, right? When people were talking about Charles Darwin, right? We'll just try to make it as least inflammatory as possible. When people were talking about Charles Darwin out of Africa theory, before college professors around the country started to debunk it, I was debunking it. I'm partially responsible for the debate even winding up on college campuses, right? Shout out to Sonetta. Shout out to the other guys in the highlight films, right? Because in order for there to be a good dunk highlight poster, there's got to be a dunker, and then there's got to be the guy getting dunked on. So y'all know I single-handedly dismantled the Amon Ra squad over this issue, right? But the out of Africa theory, if you just listen to a small part of it, right, it sounds like it makes sense because it caters to your poverty. It caters to your pain, right? It says Black people were here first. Now, most people that don't listen, they're not interested in science. They're listening to these conversations, you know, for entertainment and things like that. Anything that caters to their lower nature, they automatically, yeah. So, you know, Black folks was here first before white folks. Yeah, oh yeah. They didn't even hear the rest of the story. That's all they heard was Black folks was here first. You know, we're the original man. Oh yeah, science is acknowledging that we're the original people. And oh yeah, EnQi, you crazy. You going against Black folks, blah, 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 blah. The same kind of stuff going along with Kamala. You know, anytime you go against the popular rhetoric, they say, oh, you're going against Black. They immediately drop science, throw science out the window, and it becomes like an emotional thing, right? And without going too deep into it, the whole basis of the out of Africa theory was justification for Charles Darwin's larger theory of why racism is okay. So these people didn't know that teaching out of Africa theory was teaching racism, right? They didn't understand that. So the basic thing is nature basically, right? Because remember, this comes out of atheism. So it's also on the other side. This is not the God side. This is the Satan side, right? We need to be able to identify this. The world is binary. If you're not pro-God, you're definitely pro-Satan, whether you know it or not, right? So These are atheist folks coming up with this program. And so in the atheist program, what you have to understand is they're trying to establish a world that exists where life did not start with intelligence, right? Because in order to have a conversation, you got to take the word God off the table. The word God evokes emotional reaction. So you go, there's a creative intelligence that, life sprang from. There's intelligent design. Atheists, no, there's no intelligent design. Life is randomly happened by mistake. So now with life happening by mistake, the out of Africa theory, the small part of the whole racist theory is nature is creating life and making mistakes in designs, like humans, right? When humans started making laptops, they wasn't as good as the laptops today, right? When we started making cameras, the cameras wasn't as good as the cameras we have today. So technically, if you have an old laptop, you need to trade that in, unless you holding on to that thing for nostalgia, you know what I'm saying? Like, get rid of that laptop. That's trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, them old joints is terrible. You need to get the new joint. The new joint is the improvement on the old one. So the out of Africa theory is centered around, there was monkeys. And then after monkeys, there was black people. And then after black people came white people. And white people are here to basically replace black people who were here to replace the monkeys. And you don't realize this is how they justify the violence and all the crazy stuff that came along with slavery, because they say, listen, this is just a process of us getting rid of, and you still have folks under this impression. So when they're doing global depopulation and blah, 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 and they promoting these monkeys and all this kind of crazy stuff that you're seeing coming at you full speed in the media, you don't really understand what you're watching. A lot of it spring from that well, right? So what I'm saying is there's a lot of stuff floating around that we don't understand where this stuff came from. And because we don't understand the roots of where it came from, we can't understand the whole greater picture, right? So hold on, let me see something. I think maybe if I can find this.
Myron!
Ooh,
Myron!
what?
What are you doing? What you doing?
What you talking about? What am I doing?
You reading them nasty books again, right, Myron?
Everybody read no nasty books, man. You scared the hell out of me. What you talking about, man? Wait, I ain't did that in about 2 weeks.
You called yesterday 2 weeks. What you reading? What you reading?
You scared the goddamn book, man. Dr. EnQi. I went on Amazon and got 3 Dr. EnQi books because I'm reading about melatonin and biochemistry.
What is, Myron, that's not even first of all, it's not melatonin and whatever it is that you just said. It's melanin and biochemistry. You can't even pronounce the word, so how you reading? How you reading, Myron?
I'm not looking at the pictures. I got the books right here. I'm looking at the pictures. This ain't nothing nasty about this. So what are you talking about? I got all the books right here. What are you talking about?
Myron, you don't even know how to read. Every time we get mail, you bring it to me. You think I don't know that?
I got hooked on Phoenix. Now, what you talking about? I was hooked on Phoenix, so I know how to read.
As of when? Because first of all, hooked on phonics, I believe it's for kids. There's no such thing as hooked on Phoenix. And if I recall, you're the same person that thought reindeer was pronounced reinder, and you're the same person that thought pigeon was pronounced piggion. So it makes sense that you went to hooked on Phoenix.
Man, such a dumbass.
No,
you always trying to say somebody can't read. I know exactly what I'm talking about, man. I'm reading the books. I got the book. I got the goddamn receipt right here. For the books. What you talking about?
Well, you need to return them for somebody who know how to read them. And I still don't. It's probably all type of stuff in the inside of the books, Myron. That's how sneaky you are. Give me the books. Give me the books, Myron.
Hell no.
Give me the books, Myron. Give me the books, Myron.
I'm not giving you none. I got these books off Amazon. I'm not giving you the books. Ain't that no.
Bye. Bye.
I've been in this game. Yeah, you're animals to this shit. Animal, baby.
The gods have blessed us. We must act now. We must act now to save us, to save our souls.
Tarnil, and I just want you to be the first to hear this, that there is human flesh on sale for consumption in the United Kingdom right now, and it's legal. Oh yes, there was a time when eating human flesh was called cannibalism and it was illegal. But now there is a legal way to eat human flesh. It's called the British miracle meat made with human flesh. Oh yes. Oh yes, they grow human flesh in a way that, they incubate it and engineer it into structured flavors. I mean, they use tissues from the human body to produce this meat. I'll play the video for you to watch. I mean, you just can't make the stuff up. You can't. Watch the video.
You can't beat British grub. But these days, you've got to spend a packet to bring home the bacon. And don't even get me started on the eggs.
The cost of living crisis is hitting Britain hard, with food prices rising at the fastest rate in 40 years.
But now, a new line of affordable protein is hitting our shelves. This is engineered human meat.
That's right, a protein made from human cells that promises to be cheaper and tastier than any of its competitors.
I'm Greg Wallace.
And I'm off to visit Good Harvest, where a whopping 6 tons of human meat is engineered every day.
That is stunning.
With the promise of cheap meat for all, it may well be the meaty miracle we need to ease the squeeze of the cost of living.
Anyone for human meat? I'm Michelle Ackley, and while Greg comes face to face with the production line, I'll be conducting a taste test with some very picky palates.
It's really, tender. For the first time, we're going to find out where it comes from, how it's made, whoa, and what it tastes like. I'm up bright and early.
Hello? It's Greg Wallace. I've got an appointment. I'm the bald bloke off the telly with the glasses.
I couldn't wait to see the mysteries that lay inside. How do you solve the cost of living crisis with engineered human meat? It sounds like magic.
And this is where the magic happens.
The Good Harvest processing plant has been up and running for over 8 months. It contains both industrial and clinical operations on a site the size of 4 football pitches.
Come this way and I'll show you how it all works.
I want to see everything.
Oh, you will.
Mick Ross oversees the production line and is in charge of over 60 full-time staff who engineer roughly 50,000 steaks every day.
So come on then, Mick. How on earth do you grow human meat?
I want to introduce you to our nutrient vat.
Hello, Nutrient Vat, Greg Wallace, telepresenter, and your job is?
Well, what its job is, it processes thin slices of tissue in a nutrient-rich mix, which you see here, and then cells start to grow. So over a 24-hour period, these will slowly fuse together into one great big, what we call a cake.
So you're telling me that is human flesh?
Exactly.
But why human meat? Why not animal meat?
That's a very good question. We've got centuries of knowledge of human medicine at our side. We know more about humans than we do about animals. So we've mastered engineering human cells to make these structured flavors and
Let me just point out the obvious lie right there. That's not true. That's just not true. I couldn't even let the video keep going. That's not true. Because it's not right. It's not legal. It's not ethical to run tests on human subjects. So 99.99999.9 ad infinitum. These tests is run on animals. So we know a lot more about animals and animal flesh than we do about humans because we can't run tests on humans. We can run tests on animals. So anyway.
sinews that we expect from the flavors of steaks we eat.
Good Harvest encourages people who need the income to sign up, select their own extraction site, and get paid within the week.
You expect to be feeding the nation with this. You're going to need a lot of donors.
Well, it's well in demand, and we've got a lot of people coming forwards, because the other great thing about it is it's an opportunity to be paid.
Would you ever consider donating yourself?
Yeah, maybe I would. I mean, I may have to. My bills are as high as anybody else's. You know, I've got a young family, I've got a daughter to feed, so...
And would you feed your family human steaks?
Oh, yes, most definitely. Already have.
After the donor's tissue samples are placed in the nutrient vat, they're stimulated with electrodes and left to grow at 40 degrees centigrade.
Okay, so let's just. I'm trying to tell y'all. Listen to what I'm saying. Y'all have no idea how far the devil worshiping has got. Definitely. Please hit the Cash App. Hit the Cash App. Go to the website, AmericanHealer.website. Buy up as much as stuff as you can buy up. Get 1,000 books if you can. Hit the Cash App. Send me some money. I need it. Right? It's just crazy going right now in my life. But yes, I appreciate that. Even the prayers for people that can't support in one of those ways. Right? The people that haven't signed up to Patreon or whatever the case may be. Right? Prayers are also welcome. Right? But listen to what I'm saying. Y'all have to understand this. And I know this is tough. I know this is tough to understand. Right? Because we live in a world where, and I guess I've been a part of it. I guess I've been a part of it for a long time, you know, because maybe, you know, I've been in the closet. You know, I've been in the closet, right? But I believe in Jesus Christ. And the craziest thing is, it's easier for a black person to say that they want to be a homosexual, they want to practice, you know, anal chakra thing, this, all kind of stuff is easier than saying that you believe in the Bible. Like, seriously, if I say that, for instance, if I say I shot 10, 11 niggas, right, I'm going to get more respect in the neighborhood than if I say I raised 10 or 11 children by myself. Right? If I say I don't raise 10 children by myself, if you put me here and you put right next to me, somebody look just like me, sound just like me, but he say he shot 10, 11 niggas. And we go live at the same time on the video, I'm going to have probably 10 or 15 people in my live stream as a father raising children versus the person telling you they just shot niggas and they got paperwork to prove they was in prison and woo woo. You don't realize where we at, right? The world is, this is godlessness. If you look on the internet right now, most of the other YouTube channels and all that, they're telling you, like, let me give you this progression, because some of y'all are young. When you're young, it's hard for you to see the big picture because you wasn't around as the story developed, right? And here's what I mean. There was a time period where people were saying, you got to stay away from religion, right? You got to stay away from religion because religious people are hypocrites, right? I'm like, wait, are religious? There's a point where I fell for that. Then there's a point I learned a little bit better. I'm like, no, that's craziness. It's not a hypocrite. Just because you're not perfect doesn't mean you can't be in a religion. Like that just makes you a human. You know what I'm saying? Like, in fact, religion is there to help you overcome your imperfections, right? It's a lifelong journey though, right? Then it went to, you know, Satan, the devil is inside the Bible. You know, the devil is inside the Quran. You know, the Muslim people, you know, they got this. And so, okay. Okay, cool. Wait a minute. Hold on. We live in a binary universe. There has to be the devil being taught in these books alongside God, so you not only know the road to follow, but the road to stay away from, right? But it evolved, right? So the next phase of brainwash comes in where, no, the devil is an angel. They're trying to disguise the devil as an angel. So as people overcome these levels of brainwashing, usually it takes 5 or 10 years. It keeps going to another level and another level, right? To the point where now, if you look around, you have a mixture of platforms. They're either teaching you that Jesus himself is Satan, or that God himself is Satan, right? So these platforms are teaching you that either Jesus or God is Satan, right? That's how high the level of brainwash, and not only the level of brainwash, because I don't want to just speak to the negative side, the level of desperation. Because see, here's what happened. And this is what the Democrats couldn't factor in. This is what they didn't factor in, right? No matter how dumb you keep a population of people, right? No matter how dumbed down you keep a population of people. Listen to this. This is important. There's always going to be some level of functioning reasoning. Like the person, no matter how dumbed down you keep a population, they will have some level of functioning reasoning, right? And so the Democrats have been drunk with power for the last couple 100 years. They just got more bold and more bold and more bold because they've been relying on Black people, right? And the crazy thing is this is the pro-slavery group relying on the slave to keep them in power. Listen to what I'm saying. The pro-slavery group has brainwashed. Y'all might need to look up Willie Lynch again. It doesn't matter if the letter, like if the actual person of Willie Lynch ever existed, the blueprint not only exists, but the blueprint is highly successful, right? We now in a space where the slave master requires the slave to keep the slave master in power. Now you have to go back to 1864 through 1867 to really process this. But a lot of the slaves, they were scared to leave the plantation and then decided to voluntarily stay on the plantation. So those people, they had kids. Those people had kids. See, this is the reason why you're not supposed to ever learn that your mentality, your emotional body, your mental body, the way you think, the way you feel, those things are also passed down to your children because there's a lot more going on than you think inside your body. I was hoping that these folks saying they found 3,000 new types of neurons would have been a red flag for folks out there, but folks still just dancing to they just dancing to the beat still. Like, hey, wakey, wakey, They just said they discovered 3,000 new neurons. What that means is they had no idea how your brain worked all this time. 3,000 new types of neurons. That's more neurons that they've discovered than they told us have existed all this time. So you got to understand, them folks that stayed on the plantation, they had children, them had children, and so on and so forth. So we now are in a time where now there's taboo science associated with these black bodies, which is the reason why black folks are the most persecuted all around the world throughout history, right? But at the same time, we're needed. We're needed. We can't be replaced, right? So since we're needed, but we're detested, we're hated, we have to be controlled. If we weren't needed, we could just be exterminated, but we're needed. So instead of being exterminated, we got to be controlled, right? So in 2024, we find ourselves in a position where the slave masters, the Democrats, actually need the slaves to keep them in power, right? Now, what they didn't factor in was that there would be a limit where a light switch would come on. Like, wait, hold up. Wait. What do y'all wait? Hold on now. Y'all done did the pipeline, the prison. Y'all done, hold up. Y'all done put the food, the chemical. Y'all done did the vaccine. Wait, y'all done did what? Whoa. Y'all done put y'all done got rid of the regular books and put these mixed rainbow books in the school. Wait, y'all attacking the kids? And hold on, damn it. No. We're not in favor like that. That was like an ice bucket challenge right there. Cold bucket of ice water hit folks. Oh, wait a minute. What are they trying to do to these kids? Oh, hell no. We're not okay with that. Boop. But they thought that by paying off rappers and getting other folks but see, you may not understand this, but God is at work too. The devil's busy, but God is busy too. So what happens right before they dance out all of the celebrities to brainwash you into voting this madness into the books? That would be your own undoing, right? Because here's the two things that the main Democrat issues have in common. One issue is the transgender laws, right? So they wanted to vote in a lot of transgender laws. The other thing is they want to promote abortions, right? The one thing that those two things have in common is depopulation, right? Because two gay people cannot make a baby, right? So you're promoting the people that can make babies to kill the babies. And at the same time, you're working to try to turn the people that can make babies into people that are sterile, right? So you're effectually getting people to volunteer to become sterilized at the same time as the people who are not sterilized. You're brainwashing them into believing that they're somehow doing something good by killing babies. Now, the ratio of abortion is insane. When you factor in the Black and the Spanish versus the suburbanite community where mostly white folks live, it doesn't even come close. In fact, most white folks that want to get an abortion, they got to drive down to the city to get an abortion because Planned Parenthood is not out in the suburbs. So they got to drive into the hood with Planned Parenthood. I used to walk by, listen to this. I went to Clark Junior High School in the Bronx, right? I went to Clark Junior High School in the Bronx. Clark Junior High School is on, what is that? So you got 149, maybe 141st. Nah, maybe like 143rd Street. between 3rd Avenue and Willis, something like that. We had this cheap donut place. My life. We had this cheap donut place where they sell donuts, sugar donuts, 6 for $1, right? And you know, I'm hustling from the gate. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the have nothing kids, right? So this represents free food for me because I can go get 6 of these donuts. I could eat 2 or 3 of them and then turn around and sell 2 or 3 of them and get my $1 back and hit the donut spot again. You know what I'm saying? So I can hustle both ways. I can sell me a few donuts in school, then on the way home, stop back at the bakery, get me another 6. Yeah. Anyway, coming down Cortland, right? When you get to Cortland and 149th, right? So Cortland Ave, most of y'all are familiar with that now because you're watching all of the young Bronx drill rappers killing each other up. My neighborhood, Ground Zero. So I used to cut through Jackson projects, cut through Melrose projects. I was like one of the only kids my age that was able to walk through the projects. Like everybody else from my neighborhood, it might get dark. It might get dark if you try to walk through the projects. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I used to handle myself in a way where, my hood pass was good everywhere. Right. So I go through Jackson projects, cut through Cortland, get to Cortland Ave, hit the bakery, and I take Cortland Ave, which lets out maybe like on 147th, somewhere right there in Willis Avenue, but it's like a little shortcut almost. Boom. And I can hit the donut, the donut spot. But on 149th Street and Cortland Avenue was Planned Parenthood, right? So every day when I used to walk back and forth to school, I had to walk past Planned Parenthood. These Negroes was out there passing out flyers like it was a nightclub. See, this is why there's a certain level of propaganda that can't penetrate my ears because I lived life and seen. I've lived life and seen. I've seen. If you're watching these videos from another country or from the suburbs somewhere, you got to evaluate this stuff based on what you hear and what you read. I seen them outside passing out flyers, right? I seen them coming into the schools, telling the kids, you know what I'm saying? Hey, yeah, come on, stop by and we can talk to you about this and that and the other and blah, 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 under the guise of safe sex, right? And they wasn't promoting safe sex. We know that now because a lot of the sisters that took the different birth controls and the metal, was that the IUD? We now know that these things they said it was 100% safe before. Now we know years later that a lot of these women wound up sterile and fibroid, cancer, cysts, all kind of stuff because now, this does increase, things have changed over time, the language associated, but we don't think back to the time period when they were saying, yo, this is green light. This is great. This is healthy. This is, and you don't need, this was the same now. Back then, though, what they was pushing was they was trying to legalize safe sex stuff without the parental consent. That was the thing back then. You don't need your parents to come talk to us about sex stuff, right? Come see us and we'll show you how to get abortion or use birth control without your parents' consent. Woo, 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 woo. Now it's just full-blown sterilization, right? Now, if you don't have, and when I say sterilization, I mean chop off the penis and the testicles for young men, or sew up the vagina, get rid of the uterus for young women, right? What I'm saying is, if you don't have a historical view, if you don't know who's Margaret Sanger, if you never saw the Ma'afa 21 documentary, right? If you don't understand that eugenics did not start with Hitler in Germany, and it started in America, And Hitler learned what he learned from America. Right? So people would say, oh, you know, at the Nazi scientists, they let them come over here at the end of the war with the Nuremberg trial and this and that. Why? You got to ask yourself why. The reason was because all the science that they had over there that they was doing all the crazy stuff with was American science. Right? That they was running on black folks. Right? So you got to understand there's a, you know what I'm saying? So people just had enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? That's all you just saw right there. At the poll, though. You saw it at the polls, right? The voting, enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? There's people that have never voted in their life. They just came out to vote against Kamala. Like, bro, we're not having you attacking the kids, bro. Like, you got to relax. Nah, we're done. Yeah, I did the pipeline to prison. It's bad enough we got the kids killing each other and going crazy. And you profiting off of it. Right? So the school system is tied into the prison system. The kids are making way more money being in prison than they are in school. The kids are way more profitable in prison than they are in school. Right? So Biden and his team, Jabari, House of Consciousness, Jabari, you know what I'm saying? These folks was instrumental in helping to promote and legalize this, right? In the community, disguised as pro-community, right? Not Sa, right? We don't know how Sa voted, right? But I'm just saying his champion he promotes is Jabari, and Jabari has been undercover working with like a lot of folks that you just wouldn't know, right? Take Nature Boy, for example. What you don't know, right, is that Nature Boy had a college professor that secretly funded his whole program. From the time he was a stripper in Atlanta, right? So let me tell you this story about Nature Boy. So you understand the larger, what you up against. Because y'all don't believe the devil exists anymore. Even you folks running around saying, I'm spiritual. I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. You don't believe, you don't even know what you're doing out here. So Nature Boy is a lost young black man, right? He's a lost young black man. He's in the system, right? Early on, foster care to prison, school pipeline to prison, prime example of what they're doing to these kids' brains in the system, right? So a college professor, a liberal college professor, let me make sure I state that. A liberal college professor gets his hands on Nature Boy. He meets Nature Boy while Nature Boy is dancing at male strip clubs, right? So these are strip clubs for male men that want to see naked men, to be specific, right? So he meets Nature Boy at one of these places. He starts to pay Nature Boy, right? He starts to pay Nature Boy so much, right, for private shows and stuff like that, that Nature Boy no longer needs to like dance in the clubs, right? He got a sugar daddy. These are just facts, right? So this is not disrespect to him or not kicking him while he's down, or this is just facts of what happened, right? So the guy buys him a whole barbershop. Literally, the guy bought Nature Boy a barbershop. So the Nature Boy had another way to make money besides working in the club. Now, the whole time, the guy is indoctrinating Nature Boy. He's indoctrinating Nature Boy, right? So he's paying him, he's indoctrinating him, right? And so once he gets to a certain space, you know, I think this sleeper cell shit is some shit that's in a mystery. No. The sleeper cells exist right in the black community. You're watching sleeper cells and all kind of shit go on in front of you, but you don't know what you're looking at, right? So This a liberal college professor like Jabari, right? Jabari probably know him. These liberal college professors just like Jabari, right? Just like Jabari, right? So he buys Nature Boy a barbershop, indoctrinating him the whole time, sponsors Nature Boy to leave the barbershop and go make his debut after he's create a relationship with young Pharaoh. Right now, the nature of this relationship between young Pharaoh and Nature Boy is still very sketchy, right? But let me say this. They meet each other online and they start talking to each other on the phone every day. And Nature Boy, based on these phone calls, agrees to drive from Atlanta to meet Pharaoh. Pharaoh is from Buffalo. So Nature Boy agrees to drive. Now, mind you, Nature Boy is a gay man. He's talking to Pharaoh every day on the phone. He decides to drive across country to meet up with Pharaoh. And him and Pharaoh go to do this lecture at Sarnetta's house. Now, he was only supposed to be interviewing young Pharaoh at the time. But he started talking, and then they start arguing and fighting on the camera and whatever the case may be. From that moment, you know, they kind of both start developing their popularity or whatever the case. The liberal college professor still behind the scene funding Nature Boy, funding the movement. So Nature Boy could take these kids out into the woods and teach them all this anal chakra science, right? Because Nature Boy then got the education with the anal chakra program and all that, right? So now he getting ready to teach it to these young boys in the woods and all that. If he would have never made that video talking about he let the kids play with his private parts and all that, nobody would have ever even took a second doubt. Because at the time, you had so many other conscious platforms teaching anal chakra madness. I've been the only person over the years saying, hey, no, stop that. Put that down. Stop listening to that. Now, if you notice, coincidentally, I've been the only one teaching at the same time as I've been saying the anal chakra thing is fake. The anal chakra thing is devil worship, right? I also been teaching out of the Bible. And hey, this is a good thing. You should probably study this book because this book is, you know, let's open this book back up. She's like, no, don't listen to these people because this book right. So just know it's a coincidence. Now, I don't believe in coincidence, but I'm going to allow you guys to believe in coincidence. I'm going to just say it's a coincidence that the only person that was telling you that the anal chakras, don't exist, and it's some type of ritual devil shit going on, is also the guy that's been saying, let's not throw the Bible away just yet. You might want to pick this up and go back in here, right? So the liberal college professor, after all is said and done, he disappears, skates back off into, we don't know his face. He done disappear, vanished into wherever he vanished at. He's still in college right now teaching other kids. This same guy that groomed Nature Boy and funded Nature Boy to do all he did in the community, he's still at a college right now teaching other kids. Yeah, right now, he's still getting paid to teach other kids. Just like Jabari. Just saying. So you have no idea how deep this devil worshiping madness goes. Yeah, this is big. This is a lot bigger than you think. Yeah, this is a lot bigger than you think. You know, Mark Lamont Hill is one of these people. Mark Lamont Hill is one of these people. I know a lot. So when I don't put a name and a face to it, it don't pop. Right? Mark Lamont Hill is a liberal college professor that's down with the anal chakra movement. Yeah, I don't know this about Mark Lamont Hill, but I know this about Mark Lamont Hill because the Mark Lamont Hill is a longtime Dr. York guy, just like Polite, just like Nature Boy, just like Brother Yaki Awakening. Yeah, all these guys is Dr. York students that's coming in to keep the thing going. It just, you can't connect the dots because you're not paying attention. You see, look, let me say this. And then I'll get off this and we go back to what we're talking about with the meat or whatever. But you didn't pay attention that when all of the Dr. York stuff was coming out and the Polite stuff and all of that they mentioned that Dr. York had a son who was named Jacob York, right? Now, do y'all remember the story about Jacob York? They said that Jacob York turned on his father and went into the music business with Puffy. Oh, nigga, listen. They said that he turned on his father and went into the music business with Puffy. So, what are the odds that Dr. York is in jail for molesting kids, whatever? Polite in jail, right? Now, Puffy is in there. And the only thing that even made me remember Jacob York is because Jacob York is now on the internet saying we need to support Puff Daddy. One of my homeboys sent me the video, and let me tell you, I had a rough week. But I laughed so hard that tears was coming down my face. My shirt was wet. I was laughing so hard. I could not believe it. I was like, yo, is this nigga serious? But listen, this the devil's playground right now. And if you have a short attention span, you liable to fall for anything right now because you don't understand how to connect the dots. You don't see and go, oh, wait a minute. So he learned this from him, and then he was hanging out with him, and he worked with him. Now he's in jail, he's in jail, he's in jail, and he's not, but he's out saying we need to free this. Listen, there's a lot of things that's going on in our world today that's socially acceptable because you've been culturally, slowly but surely brung along. Every 5 or 10 years or so, just add another layer to the brainwash. And because the foundation is laid, it makes it easier to put the next level of brainwash on top, right? So going back to and finishing up on your carnivore meat thingy. Carnivore lifestyle, eating raw meat, right? For John Q. Public, that has the stomach for it, pun intended, and that has the mind to eat raw hearts, that's bloody, that like bloody, to eat a bloody heart, right? If you have that mind, it's better than eating a cheeseburger. It's better than eating fried chicken, right? But make no mistake, it is nowhere near what I would call healthy, right? I know that the brother that asked the question, or the sister, I can't tell from the name, right? But I know the person that asked the question has not read my books, right? I could tell, right? You're not buying the books, right? Yeah, I could tell because you're not, yeah. So, but So it's nowhere near what I would consider optimal. It's not like there are nutrients that are found in flesh that are not found. So here's how you can end the whole conversation, right? Are there nutrients that are found in the meat that are not in the plant kingdom, right? That your body cannot create, right? And then you ask the other side the question, are there nutrients that are in the plant kingdom that your body can't create that's not in the meat, right? And that right there will shut down any conversation of which one is more nutritious or which one is healthier, right? There's a zillion more different nutrients that's in the plant kingdom that's not in meat, right? They're not, listen, and then you can add insult to injury, right? Like after you dunk it on somebody, you could taunt them. So this is how you could taunt them after you destroy the argument. You can ask them, when is the last time Big Pharma spent millions or billions of dollars sending researchers out to find cures for diseases, right? To find miracle cures inside of dead meat, right? Because they 90% of medicine is synthesized from plants. Big Pharma has people in the jungles right now, looking for new plants, new nutrients in the plants. They're not doing that with squirrels. There's no group of scientists right now that's grabbing squirrels from your backyard to see if the squirrel has a cure for cancer in it. There's no group of scientists right now that's grabbing cats or dogs or cows or horses to see if they got a cure for AIDS. Like that. That's not happening. So there's a level where these conversations are entertaining. And then there's a level where people would just look at you like you are severely undereducated for even presenting the question, right? Then one of the things that you will hear about people that don't understand what a real vegan diet is versus plant-based, right, is they'll say, yo, this is expensive. Yo, this is expensive. Well, let me say this for anybody even considering that. You don't know what expensive is until you try to eat a diet exclusively based on raw meat. Because if you come from the Black community, you don't even know what it is to go to the butcher shop to buy meat. You don't even know what it is to do that. You used to going to buy chicken from the supermarket, and with the cost of inflation, we're complaining about supermarket prices. For real, I'm ready to choke a nigga to death behind laundry detergent. Like, we're complaining about supermarket prices. If you are complaining about supermarket prices, like me, I promise you, you're gonna go to the butcher shop and you're just gonna bust a U-turn. You're gonna go to the butcher shop and you're gonna go, okay, wait, you're gonna go to the supermarket and go, okay, what's the best steak y'all got in here? Oh, okay, filet mignon or this. What's the cost of liver? Okay, let me write these down. Liver costs X, the high quality liver in the supermarket, X amount of dollars per pound. High quality steak, X amount of dollars per pound. Prime chicken breasts, with no antibiotics. Well, how much is that per pound? Okay. Now you go to the butcher shop and see how much that stuff actually costs. Fresh, like real animals meat. Not even close. You got to put a multiplier on that shit. You got to put a multiplier on it. So whatever you think is going on in the supermarket, multiply that times 2, 3, or 4 if you want to go get top choice from the butcher. Let me just say this. You got to multiply it by 2 or 3 times if you want to go to the butcher shop and get the lower quality. Because when you go to the butcher shop, it's just going to introduce you to a whole new universe. The same way you can go to the supermarket and there's chicken wings or steaks that might be $5 for a pack. And then there's also the ones that's $15 or $20 a pack. That exists. That layered thing exists in the butcher shop. You go to the butcher shop, it's going to be steaks in there that might start out at $30. Then there's the $60. Then there's the $100. Then there's the $200. It gets crazy. So if price factors, and I don't know the budgets of people watching. I don't want to pocket watch or count people's. I'm just saying I live on a budget, right? So I'm just saying the raw meat thing, nutrition wise, there's not more nutrition in raw meat than plants. Is there more nutrition in raw meat than fake meat? Yes, I will say that. A raw, fresh cow something, 9 out of 10 times is going to have more nutrition in it than a Beyond chicken burger, beef, whatever, a soy burger. But again, that's not real plant-based diet. That's fake. Right? That's processed food. That's like eating a cereal. Like the only difference between a Beyond Burger maybe and like Captain Crunch cereal is that we know Captain Crunch cereal is not natural. We know that's processed. A lot of people are under the assumption that because it's plant-based, it's natural. That's where a lot of confusion comes in with the plant-based versus vegan and this. So it gets crazy over there. But it's like a zillion times more expensive. It's not as much nutrition as plants. So hopefully we took the long route and gave you as much as information as possible on that whole subject. Right? Hopefully we gave you as much as insight as possible on that subject. You know what I'm saying? Because while the cat's away, the mice will play. Right? What about that rapper? Hold on. What about that rapper D1? Because a lot of y'all was asking me about D1 when he was saying that the violence in the rap music is bad and we need to make rap music like him. Y'all didn't factor in the fact that when he went on that whole campaign against Rick Ross and Meek Mill and them, that he had an album dropping. He needed to go viral to sell his album. Y'all didn't factor in the fact that D1, the conscious black rapper, is a cross-dresser. Hold on, listen to this. Y'all never factored in the fact that D1 is a cross-dresser. So when he came out and started supporting Kamala, pun intended, when he came out and started supporting Kamala, a lot of people was like, yo, D1 is saying, you know, we got to go against Trump because blah, 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 blah. I'm like, these niggas will never learn. When a candidate, let me explain something to you about politics. When a candidate is running for office, the candidate may have like 5 or 10 speaking points to the not to their main issues. The speaking points 99% of the time is not centered around their main issue that's in their heart that they are passionate about. Their speaking points that they argue about, debate about, and make commercials about are the 5 most popular things or the 3 most popular things that they think will get the people to the polls to vote for them. So what they're talking about is not really what's in their heart, right? And there's a whole bunch of different things that they're running on, right? So it's very easy. Say, for instance, there's a candidate running. Let's do a hypothetical thing. Say, for instance, there's a candidate running, right? And the candidate wants to give out free drug equipment in the urban communities. Like they want to give out free, needles and drug stuff to help heroin addicts get high. Wait, no, bad example, because Joe Biden actually did that. Bad example. Yeah, the Democrats actually did that. So we can't, crazy. This would never fly. But you niggas voted for it anyway. But let's just say a candidate wants to, like, I don't know, let's just say something crazy. Like they want to just kidnap your kids or whatever. Something crazy that you would never agree to, right? Well, they just don't discuss that. The people that actually support that, they don't come out and say, yo, vote for this guy because of this. What they come out and say is something like what you will be interested in. They'd be like, hey, this person wants to, make sure your mom doesn't have to pay a senior citizen, bill or something like that. And you go, oh yeah, my grandma, you're going to protect my grandma? Yeah, let's protect my grandma. And they get you all jet, but you don't realize that this person got some other stuff going on, right? So that's how I look at the D1 thing. You know what I'm saying? I always just looked at that. You know what I'm saying? And put those two things side by side. Would I prefer to have my sons out in the street gangbanging, listening to this group of rappers, or would I prefer my sons to be listening to D1 and have them out cross-dressing? I gotta weigh that. Do I want cross-dressing sons or gangbanging sons? Damn, I really don't want either one, right? Because I do want me some grandbabies. So I guess if I want some grandbabies, I might have to just roll with the gangbanging. I'm just saying. Because I'm going to need me some babies. Yeah. So that's just the way I always looked at D1. Mike Tyson, right? And I got to go through some of this stuff because people was asking me. I've been gone. These are all the things that people been hitting me up, Mike Tyson, right? Everybody is mad about Mike Tyson. I think y'all are insane. I think y'all are insane. I thought that the fight was amazing. I could not believe that after the fight, I heard so many people complaining, saying, oh, I feel ripped off because Mike Tyson, that's not the real Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was not at his best. That's not the Mike Tyson we used to seeing. I'm like, wait, hold up. See, this is the reason why I write books. It's a lot of people. See, y'all out there that watch me on a regular basis, y'all not doing y'all job. My job is y'all sending me the cash apps, supporting the website and all that, so I could keep doing the research and writing the books. Your job is to buy the books and promote the books and get this information out to the masses because niggas need education. If we thought that somehow a 58-year-old man was going to perform like the 20-year-old man, the problem has nothing to do with the 58-year-old man or his performance. It is in the delusion of the people. People are delusional. You're watching this clickbait society where you're not putting things into real life perspective. You're not putting things into real life perspective. You're forgetting that Mike Tyson was at the time the youngest heavyweight champion ever. So as the youngest heavyweight champion ever, all of those crazy, deadly Mike Tyson videos that you're now judging the 58-year-old nigga against, he was 19 years old. He couldn't even buy liquor. And no way. Listen, he was heavyweight champion before he could buy liquor. Like he was still a kid. All of his best, your brain, listen, your brain is not finished developing until you're 25 or 26 years old. Mike Tyson already started to decline by then. Mike Tyson's best time was while he was a kid, all below 25. So from 18 to 24 is the best highlights that you see from Mike Tyson online. Right? By the time he getting a tattoo on his face and all that, he got to be more of a monster in people's minds to sell fights than in reality, because he was past his prime. So I thought that watching a 58-year-old get into the ring, and mind you, he looked in amazing shape. Nobody talked about how he's 58 years old. He'd have been to prison and ate all kind of stuff, did all kind of drugs, and he still got himself in that high level of condition at 58. I'm looking at people talking greasy in the news, online. I'm in supermarkets listening to people online talk crazy. And I'm looking at these people. I'm like, yo, you're half Mike Tyson age and you don't have the physique Mike Tyson got. Mike Tyson looked twice as good as you, and he's twice as old as you, and you talking about what Mike Tyson doing. I'm like, yo, this is a problem. This is a problem. Niggas got 6 packs of beer with big buckets of ice cream saying Mike Tyson out of shape. I'm like, yo, this is just crazy shit, right? So I thought Mike Tyson did great for a 58-year-old man, which is what he is, right? Period. I don't care what type of rules they had. Oh, Mike Tyson had to go to the end of the fight to woo woo. I even thought that, for me personally, being a New Yorker, understanding the real deep down monster that Mike Tyson is, I thought that he showed amazing levels of emotional and mental growth. So people was asking, why was he biting on his glove? You know why he was biting on his glove. Because he wanted to get into some others, he wanted to get into a whole nother. It took a lot for him to control himself out there. Getting hit all in the face and all that. Jake Paul punch hard. Like, you can say whatever you want about them Paul brothers. Them boys punch hard. So him getting hit with all like them boys punch hard. So him taking them punches and not being his old self and being able to get in on the inside, and it took, I thought that he showed a real, but that's because I got a unique view of things. You know what I'm saying? When Dame Dash T fell out, remember, I was saying that that's iconic. Everybody else was laughing. You know what I'm saying? And there's a funny part to it, but I was saying it's iconic because Dame Dash is older than me, right? But we come from the era where these people was on the news, ABC News, NBC News, CBS, like Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7. They was running specials back in the 80s and in the 90s saying that we would never make it to 25 years old. So I was saying that's iconic because clearly he broke all the curses. He's made it to senior citizen age. He's a rich grandpa now. He's a rich grandpa. Is he as rich as Jay-Z and some of the other guys? Maybe not. But have you seen the videos? Like the house, I mean, he don't look like he's hurting for anything. Like he made it to rich grandpa status, right? So I just be having a different view of things sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to start placing stuff in reality and not in a delusional sense. We in delusion. Right? Yeah. That's exactly what was going on. It's not, I wouldn't say he was holding back because they saying it like it was scripted. Mike Tyson was holding back. Listen, From New York, we are Mike Tyson fans like other people in the world can't imagine. Mike Tyson represents to us the most ignorant nigga possible, making it to be successful. And while that may not be worded properly for you to fully absorb that, it just was something special and prideful to see somebody that did everything the wrong way, but kept his heart in the right place. Mike Tyson is a fat kid that liked birds. He's a fat kid that liked birds, that wasn't smart in school or nothing, right? Like that's his roots. Now, poverty and all of the stuff that go along with poverty turns him into, you know, he's in and out of prison and he's experiencing all these things. So now, but we saw him like make it, like that was like, oh, this is crazy. Like you could really drive through the, you know, drive to the fork in the road and go straight. Like you can. So people are using it. Oh, no. People is not Mike Tyson fans. They just watch clips. Remember, Mike Tyson never, ever, ever, ever beat anybody boxing. So all these people talking about like Terrence Crawford was mad disrespectful. Like people saying, oh, Mike Tyson, he didn't throw no punches and he didn't do this and that. And where's Mike Tyson's jab? I'm like, where Mike Tyson y'all niggas talking about? Is it Mike Tyson punch out from the video game? Mike Tyson don't do that. Mike Tyson, the boxer, did not do that. Mike Tyson knocked people unconscious immediately. The bell rings, boom. He turns into the angel of death and puts you to sleep. That's Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson never won on no boxing. In fact, once they figured out how to beat Mike Tyson, jab and run, Mike Tyson does not know how to box. That's when they start beating him. Buster Douglas exposed him. Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield. They figured out, yo, this guy don't know how to box. He's stronger than probably any other human ever that put on gloves. So if you allow him to do that uppercut to you, it's a wrap. There's no human that can take them. But if you can avoid that uppercut, anybody can beat Mike Tyson, right? So they learned the trick. So all these people saying, oh, well, he was supposed to do this and that. I'm like, what are you basing this on? Are you basing this on watching Floyd Mayweather fights? So you watching Floyd Mayweather fights with the shoulder roll and all kind of other stuff, and you saying, oh, Mike Tyson should have been shoulder roll. I guess Mike Tyson supposed to shoulder roll. Mike Tyson never boxed people. He was a brutal guy. Like he just come in the ring, boop, bop, 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 boop. That's it. He coming in and he's waiting for his opportunity. You're going to hit him with a few things and he's not worried about none of that. All he waited is getting close to you so he could put that uppercut on you. Good night, Irene, every time. So he could not get close to Jake Paul to put that uppercut on him. He had something going on with his knee. He's 58 years old. He probably on a bunch of medications. The nigga just had a stroke 6 months ago. Yeah, do y'all forget Mike Tyson had a stroke? Oh my God, bless his soul. Listen, listen. Another reason why I love this so much is because I'm a father and I understand sometimes as a father, you got to do what you got to do. This man just had a stroke. He was in the hospital 6 months ago. They was like, Mike, you might die. But as a father, I got to go jump out there in front of a 27-year-old that's putting folks to sleep. Y'all can say Jake Paul's a YouTuber all you want. And he might not know how to box good. But boy, oh boy, he got something in that glove. He got something in that glove. That's a certified fact. If he put that glove on you, just telling you. And he looked bigger and stronger against Mike Tyson than ever before. And because they doing some amateur thing, there's no drug checking and all this and all that. Like it's so who knows what Jake Paul is shooting or taking or like. Mike Tyson had to go stand in front of that young boy to feed them babies. So I just thought that was incredibly brave and courageous for a man who just had a stroke or a heart murmur or whatever it was. He just had, like, he wasn't qualified to get on the air. He just had a. So for me, that was some real, like, I felt it, like, go feed them babies, Mike. Go feed them babies. Go feed them babies. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. The world was under delusion. You know, everybody was in a delusion. There was no potato chips. Listen, in the supermarket in my neighborhood, there was no potato chips left. The potato chip aisle was empty. They did record-breaking views of that fight. Record-breaking, right? So Mike Tyson got to go down as the GOAT. He got to give Floyd in the GOAT debate for boxers. Mike Tyson has to now move up and give Floyd a run for his money. Inside the ring is Floyd, right? Could Floyd in his prime beat Sugar Ray Robinson in his prime? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You know, with the eye test watching boxers, I don't know. Sugar Ray Robinson. Now, folks are saying old school. They're like, nah, you should have seen Jack Johnson. I don't know. I never seen Jack Johnson and all them no glove guys and all that 30, 40 round. I never seen it. But I watched the old fights of Sugar Ray Robinson like that. That was not Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson. You know, he was killing folks in the ring, punching them out of the ring and all that. Like, so I don't know. But overall, what Floyd did to be able to stay undefeated and stay out of, well, you can't say stay out of trouble, but stay out of financial trouble and stuff like that and just be able to do what he did, you know, Floyd is still a GOAT to me. But Mike Tyson being able to do what he did and sell out, you know, the fight everywhere where he had people still tuned in to see what he was going to do. And at 58, like when I was a kid, retirement age was 55. You was a senior citizen. People was walking on canes and all that at 55. Like you get in the movies for $2. Like, so, you know, hey, we just watched a senior citizen get in the ring and do his business. You know what I'm saying? And one or two of them punches looked dangerous. It looked like if it was scripted, Mike went off script a few times because it was. Listen, if that shit was scripted, it looked like one or two times Mike Tyson went off script because a couple of them punches looked like they might have hurt it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We got to just get back into our we have to get undelusional. Okay? We got to get undelusional. Okay? People asking me about Ray J. Listen, people, I have no comment on Ray J. Let me say that. Okay? As a grown man, I am not afraid to say that I am afraid to talk about Ray J. I will not be making any comments about Ray J. Okay? Ray J is a very nefarious character. Okay? So I won't be making any comments about Ray J. End of story. Denzel Washington. Right? Denzel Washington. I have not seen any kissing video of Denzel Washington. Okay? I have not seen any kissing videos of Denzel Washington, people. I know y'all sending me the clips. EnQi, Denzel Washington, he was kissing this other man in the Gladiator movie, blah, blah, blah. I seen the clip, but the clip I seen is Denzel saying that he did it. I haven't seen him do it. But it's Denzel saying that he did it, right? And saying that it was removed from the movie. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't believe that. Listen to what I'm saying. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I would have to see Denzel doing that for me to believe that. Denzel been married to one lady for 1,000 years. Listen to what I'm saying. Denzel been married to one lady for 1,000 years. I seen that. See, look, I'm not delusional. So you got to go what's the real thing versus the. Now, if I see it, that may be something different. But I have not seen this done. Right? I haven't seen that done. I just heard him saying it. I saw the clip with him saying that he kissed the guy and they took it out, but I haven't seen the actual footage. So I don't even know that to be real. I know what I do know to be real is people will say anything to promote. So I know he got that movie and that movie needed to promote. I know that clip of him saying that he did that is now viral. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Denzel kissed the man in Gladiator. Yo, let's go see it. So now 1,000% more people are going to go spend money to see that movie to see if they could find something going on with Denzel in the movie. Right? That. Now, of course, I like Gladiator. So, of course, I've seen Gladiator too. You know what I'm saying? I like Gladiator. That's a classic movie. Right? So I've seen Gladiator too. I didn't see anything that even looked like, listen to what I'm saying. I didn't see anything that even looked like it was a moment where that was getting ready to happen. So if they cut it out, they must have cut out the whole lead up scene and everything, because there's no moment where it looks romantic, like he was getting ready to, like, I didn't see anything like that in the movie. So that's all I'm saying. Like, don't, we have to stop getting delusional about things. Like, we heard this. That's like what the people were saying with Trump. Trump said this. Yeah, all right, but Trump gave the most money to the HBCUs than any president we had in the last, like. So I hear what he said. He's saying whatever he need to say to move audiences around and get folks to be motivated to do what he wanted. But what is he actually doing? Right? Denzel just trying to motivate folks to go see the movie. You know what I'm saying? As far as I know, because I don't see, for instance, let's just say I'm a Denzel fan, so my opinion is biased, right? Let's say that he really did kiss a guy, which would be his prerogative, right? Let's say he kissed a guy in the movie and they cut the scene out. Why would he go on an interview and talk about that on the interview? Remember, Denzel is a seasoned actor. Press training is not even what, like, a person, like an NBA player that just gets signed to a contract, Bronny, he need press training. You know what I'm saying? What's my man name? The new guy at the Lakers that shoot the jump shots? Connect. What's his name? Derek Connect or something, whatever. He got the crazy three-pointer. He's new into the NBA. He just got a few dollars. He needs to get press training. Like, you got to get trained so you know what to say in the camera, what not to say in the camera. Denzel Washington is arguably the GOAT in front of the camera. So he knows how to act in front of the camera. He knows how to act in front of the camera to get the desired emotional reaction from the people. So let's say that actually happened and they cut it and threw it out. Why did he talk about that? Do you know how many scenes get cut out of a movie like that? There's probably over 100 scenes that they did and cut. They didn't make it to the actual film. Maybe 1,000, because they filmed these movies for sometimes 6 months, sometimes a year. So there may be 1,000 different clips or hours and hours. Like they might film maybe 10,000 hours worth of footage that gets turned into a 90-minute movie. Right? So why would he go on camera? Right? Why would he do an interview and talk about this one scene that got clipped? Because he know this is the button right now. The whole presidential election is about, you know, gay, trans, blah, 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 blah. Let me jump out there and get into the algorithm. Yeah, hey, I'm kissing the man too. Hey, wait a minute, everybody, pay attention to me. I was kissing men too. Just yeah. Listen, until I see it, listen. Denzel jumped into the algorithm. He's an actor, acting. He got into the algorithm. So that's all I'm gonna say about Denzel. Unless I see the video, I don't believe it. Yeah, I gotta see it. I had to block somebody named Astral Projection. Yo, oh my God. Why I got somebody in the chat who was trolling named Astral Projection? You gotta be kidding me. So listen, that's all I'm saying. Whether it happened or not, it's a publicity stunt. It's a publicity stunt. Right? So, okay. So we didn't get to talk about the heart disease. All right, we didn't get to talk about the heart disease. But I appreciate y'all for hanging out so I could get warmed up and get back online. I appreciate the folks that have been checking on me, sending me some cash apps. We understand how it is to have death in the family, EnQi. We want to support you in your trying time. Right? My cash app is not closed. Hit the cash app. Right? But let me say this. I found some new stuff with heart disease. I did find some new stuff with heart disease that we're going to talk about. A whole new trigger mechanism that's been hidden from the public for heart disease. A whole new trigger mechanism. And listen, the same thing we did with diabetes, heart disease. Got it. When I say got it, I'm talking about to the T. Like we could draw it all the way out. We can draw it all the way out to the T. And the crazy thing is, the craziest part of this is, I kid you not, it's in the Bible. The cause and the cure of heart disease is in the Bible, and it's in plain English. Like plain English. Like, you know how, here's a problem I have with folks that discuss the Bible. You know what's the number one disconnect when I try to talk to folks about, you know, we have conversations, debates, whatever. They're going to say, well, you know what, EnQi? You trying to use the Bible in a literal kind of way. You can't do that. You can't use the Bible in a literal kind of way because that's not how the Bible makes sense. You got to understand, you didn't go to school to understand the Bible. You can't use the literal words. I'm like, wait. You do know in the Bible it says that you're not supposed to change any of the words at all because this is supposed to be the word of God. So I'm not supposed to use the word of God like in a literal sense. Okay. Well, I'm literate. I can read. Yeah, but you haven't been to school, and you have to have the Holy Spirit on you. That sounds crazy, but you have to have the Holy Spirit on you, right? In order to be able to interpret the scriptures. Notice whenever they want to make it sound like more, they don't say Bible, they say scriptures at that point, because then they add a little more juice to it. So I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I need to have the Holy Spirit in order to interpret the scriptures. Yes. Here's the question you got to ask these people. Where did you get anointed with the Holy Spirit to be able to interpret the Bible? And they're going to start telling you they got a bachelor's degree, they got a master's degree, they got a PhD. Go, wait a minute. So you went to college to get a degree in theology, Bible study, woo-woo. And that's basically your holy anointing is based on your college degree, right? Here's how you destroy that. See, because they're used to talking to people that's scared of education, right? They usually, like when they say that, it's like pulling out a cross on a vampire in the movie. When they say, I got a master's degree, all of a sudden you're supposed to just go, oh my gosh. I mean, I don't, okay. Like you're supposed to just, if you step right into that conversation, right? Not only will they fall apart, but they will fall apart in a way where they will lose all respect from anybody watching, right? So all you got to do is ask them, follow up, right? Step into the moment. When they say they got the master's degree, ask them from what school? What school you got a master's degree from? That gave you this anointing to be able to understand the Bible. What school you got a master's degree from? PhD. Where you get your PhD from to understand this? Right? When they tell you, you go, okay, let me see your transcript. We talking about my soul here. We talking about my spirit. So people be asking me what my qualifications is. I'm trying to tell them to eat some herbs, like stop smoking cigarettes. I need to have qualifications to tell people stop smoking cigarettes and exercise more, right? But in order to tell me about my soul, they don't need to. What's your transcript? They're gonna say, what that got to do with anything? How do I know what they're gonna say? Because I've had these conversations 1,000 times. They're gonna say, what my transcript got to do with anything? Well, if you're saying that your college degree gave you an understanding, some sort of spiritual understanding of the Bible that John Q. Public does not have, because they didn't go to school for theology and Bible study, etc. I want to know who your teachers were. Huh? Yeah, I want to know who your teachers were. Because if you had a bunch of teachers that's not religious people at all, I want to understand how you converted going to school under liberal atheists and agnostics and pedophiles and people who practice same sexes. How you get the education from those people and that qualify you as somehow more holy than John Q. Public? No. If anything, that education aligned you up with some other ideas. And in fact, we might be living in a time where now we may have to start to turning away from folks saying that they got these Bible educations. Yeah, we might have to start turning away from these folks. Because even in the Bible, it says to watch out for them folks. They got that worldly, that's the worldly knowledge they're talking about in there. It's not knowledge of what's going on in the world, because there's nothing else that exists. Right? Even in the Bible, it's telling you knowledge about the world. So it clearly is not saying that. What it's talking about is these guys with these fake degrees, and they, oh yeah, I'm a PhD, so my spirit is more qualified to explain this to you. Says who? You don't went to school and studied with atheists, agnostics, rapists, killers. You got an education. 10 years you've been getting an education from all manner of monsters, all manner of sinners. You've been educated by sinners. What make your interpretation of this book any different than mine? In fact, if I check my background and I check that up against the background of some of your professors, I mean, I just told you that Nature Boy was funded by one of these liberal college professors. Mark Lamont Hill, listen to this. Mark Lamont Hill is one of the college professors that been teaching people that men can have a period. Listen, Mark Lamont Hill has been teaching that men can have a menstruation cycle. Not like a 64-day sperm cycle. I'm talking about a female cycle. Like he's been teaching that men can have a female cycle. This is a college professor. This is one of these guys. Like what? So I'm just saying, like, it's a lot of work we got to do out here, man. Bro. Yo, listen, it's wild out here. It's wild out here. It's wild out here. And I'm saying, listen, once you start to invade and stuff and changing stuff, that's when the problem come in. Right? That's the same like the snitches in the gang community. Right? If you sign up to be a gangster and you do some crimes and you got to go to jail, that's that, bro. You know, that's what that is you signed up for. The Bible got rules to it. If you want to be a part of the Bible universe, Bible community, this is what the rules is. That's all. And if you want to do something outside these rules, just know you outside this community. That's all. You can't come into the community and try to change it around and say, oh, no, this is what it really is. And do no. You got to relax. But see, that's what they got to do. So you got to remember everything. When I keep telling you this is the same pattern, everything happens in increments, right? So remember, initially, they didn't let the common people read Bibles. This is before slavery and all that. They didn't let common people read the Bible because they wanted to be able to dictate to you what was in the Bible and make it up as they go along. And as long as you never read it, you don't know what's in the book, right? Slaves, you was getting hung. If you try to learn how to read at all, you was getting hung. But if you was caught with a few pages, listen, if you was caught with a few pages of a Bible, it was a wrap. You was going up on the tree. They was lighting you on fire, cutting your privates off, all that. They was going to make a super example out of you. If you ran away, listen to this. If they caught you as a slave trying to run away, they'll cut off your foot, but they'll let you stay alive and stay on the plantation. If they caught you with a few pages, not a whole book, a few pages hidden of the Bible, it's over. They getting ready to cut your testicles off, hang you, like it's over. They getting ready to go crazy, right? Because they understand the impact. So fast forward, now everybody's starting to read the Bible. Now you got to basically like inject the program into people's minds to tell them that what they're reading is not what they're really reading. right? So when you open up the Bible and it says no man should have sex with another man, you got to get a guy that come in front of you and say, oh, no, wait a minute. I got a master's degree. Listen, you trying to lead a literal definition. That's not what it really means. See, what it's really saying is that no, what it's really saying is what it really said right there. It says no man. See, that's what it says right here. Yeah, this is what it says right here. Don't tell me that because you got a college degree, you getting ready to jump in front of me and tell me that it said something else. No, that's what it say. So the moment that everybody can read the Bible, guess what? They start pumping out 50 different versions per year, right? They got to remix it 50 different times, 50 different versions. Guys coming out the woodwork telling you reading something, but that ain't what that don't say what it say right there. I know you read right there where it say, don't eat the meat, like your body is the temple of God. But that's not what that means. See, what it really meant was, yeah, see, everybody sinned. Listen, and you got to realize the Kamala group, they was like, this was they calling. They had people calling people on the phone, telling people that all sins is the same. And we all sinners, so it's all good type of vibe. Like, hold on, that's not you. That's you misinterpreting. That's not how that goes. When you take on the Muslim faith, when you take on the Jewish faith, when you become a Buddhist, when you become a Christian, a Catholic, when you become a Mason, even when you take on any of these different systems, right? And we're not even going to deal with the God part of it, just the system, right? The basic idea of engaging in these systems is that you're trying to become a better woman, a better man than you are. So you're going to join a group of people that's like-minded, that's all striving to be better. So yes, we're all imperfect. Yes, technically we're all sinners because we have sinned. But that's not saying like it's a green light to say, okay, so Jesus died for all of our sins already. So I can commit as much as sins as I want right now. Yeah, I can go crazy. I can attack kids, men, women, children, rob, steal, rape, plunder. I could drop bombs. I could do anything because, well, Jesus already paid for my sins. So technically, I got an unlimited debit card to sin out here. Yeah, I could just run it up. I got a black card for sin. I can go crazy out here. That's not it. That's some of that PhD Bible teaching right there. That's not how that goes. Right? God takes care of the fools and babies. That's how my mom taught me, right? So if you don't know and you doing something wrong because you don't know circumstance, whatever, you confess it, you repent, then you move on. You're not saying that, okay, I robbed somebody, right? Let's say I robbed somebody. Or let's say I'm a robber. Let's say I'm a stick-up kid. I stick up people for a living, right? Then I come to a crisis situation that brings me to God, right? So now I'm a Muslim, right? Now I'm a Catholic. Now I'm a Christian, right? Now I'm born again. You don't say, well, my sins already paid for, so I can continue to stick people up and shoot people because, Jesus, no, that's not how that goes. What you're saying is, I've done that in the past, but you're not going to judge my future based on my past because I'm a new person. So I may have done that in the past and I can't get away from that. That's who I am still, right? That's a part of my history. That's on my resume. But I'll never do that again. No matter what circumstances life puts me in, I'll never do that again because, I'm born again. I turned over a new leaf. I've changed. I'm not that person, right? If you say, I'm going to be a Christian, but I'm continuing to stick people up, That's not grace. That's not Jesus paid for my sins. That's you trying to be a con man, and really you're only fooling yourself. Right? You can fool people, but you can't fool God. Like you, that's a delusion you've put onto yourself. So you could put on a suit, you could show up every Sunday, you could put money in the tray, all that. But if you're actively breaking the rules with no intention of stopping. That's one thing about the Quran and the Islamic faith. They put a lot of emphasis on intention. If you have no intention of stopping, then you just perpetrating a fraud. You just fraud. That's all. That's just fraud. That's not real. That's not. Yeah, that's fraud. That's not real. Right? So that's people just fooling themselves. And listen, we all have free will. People have the right to be delusional and fool themselves. The problem is we just can't let them fool us. Right? You got the right to be delusional and fool yourself. Right? If you understand that the Quran is the truth and you decide to say, listen, I'm going to be a Muslim, but I'm not going to stop eating pork. Right? Listen, I'm going to be a Muslim, but I'm not going to stop eating pork. Okay, well, you could do 1,000 prayers a day. You could do a fake thing on your forehead, because I used to live in Philly. It's guys that put the fake thing on their forehead on the way to jail so that they can make the brothers in jail believe that they've been praying a long time. So they got the black mark right there on their forehead. You could put the fake shit on your, excuse my language. I'm trying to, and see, I'm working on me. I'm working on me. I'm working on me. I only said 2 curse words this whole video. You could put the fake black mark on your head, but you still will never really be a Muslim. Never. You would never be a Muslim because you never had good intentions to the faith. People don't even know the definition of faith because they've been listening to so many Satanists on the internet. Oh, you a faith person. So faith means that you don't have any knowledge. You don't know what you're doing. You're just trusting without any knowledge. So yeah, you're stupid. And they get bad, they get bombarded with disrespect and pressure and all this and all that. So now people look at faith as a bad word. Oh, you practicing faith. You listening to illiterate people tell you that. They don't even know the definition of what faith is. They don't even know what that means, right? So we got to let people have their free will. You have the free will to fool yourself, but you're not fooling, you're not fooling God. You're not fooling the faith. You know what I'm saying? You're being a thief at the highest level. Because when you join a religious group, there are resources and benefits that you get from the people there. They pray for you. They share with you. They take you in. They see you as family. Robbing a purse or being a stick-up kid is not as bad as pretending to take on a faith that you don't believe in. You never had any intention of really following. That's the worst kind of thief. That's the worst kind of thief. So people fooling themselves. You know what I'm saying? You have no intention on giving up pork, you're not supposed to be a Muslim. You can study the Quran. You can study the Islamic faith if you just like it. You like how people sound when they say the prayers and all that. You can study the faith, sure. But it's not until you are ready to give those things up that you should go and make that step to become a Muslim. Now, when you make that step and become a Muslim, you take your Shahada, you might still struggle with pork. It's the same as people like, oh, I'm going vegan. EnQi, help me out. Boom, boom, boom. We're on the program. Woo, woo. Yeah, well, they still going to struggle. They still going to fall off. They might have a piece of chicken here. Thanksgiving coming up. They might be able to handle their discipline alone at home. But when they get surrounded with family and start listening to the old music and, they get open and loose and start getting nostalgic. Hey, they getting ready to have a little bit of that macaroni and cheese. They gonna have some of that mac and cheese, and that mac and cheese got, you know, whatever is in there. You know, they get ready to have some of that at the bare minimum. Doc, I went crazy last night, and what I tell people, don't worry about it. Wake up in the morning and forget you did it. That's the best way to handle it. Forget you did it. Don't even think like you fell off yesterday, because you might have a month of eating right. Then you fall off that one day. If you put your mind too much onto that, you getting ready to now, oh man, I already done ate crazy yesterday. So man, it's, you know, it's Friday. I might as well just keep on eating this until Sunday and start fresh on Monday. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, forget you did that last night and pick up like it never happened. Cancun rules apply. What happens here stays here. You know, just forget you ate whatever and you pick up with you. That's it. Right? But that's different than somebody that never had no intention of changing. Right? So that person is just a fake Muslim. That's not a real Muslim. Period. You're just a fake Muslim. You can't you can't decide you don't like the rules of being a Muslim, but you're gonna be a Muslim anyway. But I'm not gonna be I ain't following all these rules because this is crazy. Who giving up pork? Like, who giving up pork, bro? Come on, this is crazy. I gotta have me some sausages. Like, BLT, I'm not giving up BLT. It's like, okay, well, then you not a Muslim. That's all that means. You're not ready to be a Muslim. Pick a different religion, right? Do something else, because you can't be that if you're not willing to give up pork, right? That's how that goes. That's the beauty of religion. The beauty of religion is that it's going to help you build your discipline, because there are things that you enjoy at different levels. Some things you might even love doing. But if you love the religion more, it's going to give you ultimatum. You got to give this up to do this. And hey, you don't have to do this. You don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be a Catholic. You don't have to be a Muslim. You could be an atheist. You could be an agnostic. You could be a Hindu chakra. You could get down with the anal chakra. Go with the chakra thing. They have a religion for that. Yeah, if people want to do that, there's a religion for that. They made it. The conscious religion with the anal chakras and all that, do that. Let Phil Valentine be your reverend. There's a Reverend Phil Valentine. You could join up to the consciousness movement on Brother Rich page, and you got that. That's part of the program. But you can't be. Listen. You could join up with Reverend Phil Valentine and get the anal chakra program and all that going, but that's not a part of the Bible faith. That's not a part of being a Hebrew Israelite, Seventh-day Adventist, Catholic, Christian, Jewish, nothing associated with any part of that book. People that believe in the first 5 books, the whole first half, the Old Testament, the second part, they don't study the Old Testament, they just New Testament. Any part of that book, Dead Sea Scrolls, the Apocrypha, no part of that book. If you're trying to live by any of them chapters, that's not part of the program. So you just got to find you another program. You know, there's Hindu stuff. You can get into some of that Hindu stuff. You can get into the chakra program. You could join up with Aleister Crowley, Madame Blavatsky. There's a lot of programs out there for you. That's just not one of them. Bro, these is facts. Listen, these are facts. Phil is into that. Phil Valentine is into that, bro. Phil is big time into that. He with it. Yeah. Phil is into using cocaine to activate the Holy Spirit. That's what they teach. Cocaine, crack, activate the Holy Spirit, anal penetration, all that. That's a part of their program. I've never been into that. I always been a black sheep, banned from their platforms, all that. Yeah, you already know. I'm like, hey, what are y'all doing over there? I'm like, wait. Look. I'm like, what are y'all doing over there? Yo, I'm like this. I'm like, wait, what are y'all doing over there? So I'm just saying, there's a place for that, right? There's a place for that. And hopefully, even within that framework, maybe that helps you to become a better person, because that's what the major idea is, right? Most people don't understand a concept of heaven. Most people don't believe in life after death, right? So if you don't understand a concept of heaven, any of them, if you don't subscribe to a concept of heaven, any type, if you don't subscribe to any sort of life after death, right? That means that the only purpose for you to have any sort of spiritual system is to improve you as a human now while you're living. And you have the free will and the right to choose any path that you feel like makes that a thing for you. That's why when person asked me early in the video about the carnivore thing, I showed the video, homeboy with the captain, the Flintstone outfit on, he eating brains and all. That's what it is. So if you with that, you know, hey, is it healthier than eating fast food and processed food? Absolutely. Is eating raw brains and hearts better than eating? Is it more nutritious than eating a Beyond Burger? Absolutely. Now the trick is eating a Beyond Burger healthier than eating raw meats? I'm not sure. You might say to yourself, wait a minute, Doc, that sounds confusing. Are you saying that raw meat could be more nutritious than eating fake vegan meats, but fake vegan meats could still be healthier than raw meats? Absolutely. Absolutely. A thing can have more vitamins in it, but along with the more nutrients, there's so many other things that's counter to your health that something that may not have as much as nutrients in it at all, but doesn't have as much toxic effects could still have a better overall impact on your body. See, that's why we got to get into the specifics of wording, right? Because sometimes things that we take euphemistically to mean the same thing, they mean drastically different things. So more nutrition, more times than not, is going to be synonymous with healthy. But that doesn't mean the same thing. That doesn't mean the same thing. Doesn't mean the same thing at all. So you can have something that's loaded with vitamins that's not nearly as healthy as something that may not have much vitamins in it. May not have much vitamins in it, but doesn't have much toxins and chemicals and steroids and hormone disruptors and all kinds of other stuff that's in there, and animal hormones that mimic human hormones and all kinds of stuff going on in it, right? So if the question just is, you know, is there more nutrition in it? Oh, well, yeah, I guess, yeah, sure. I had to be honest and say the truth. Yeah, sure. But is it overall a better impact on your longevity? Mm-mm. May it have a better effect, a better impact on your short-term performance? It might. If you're an athlete, a steak, right, or a raw burger might be better than a Beyond Burger, right? If you're an athlete and you're going to have one of these two items, like getting rid of both items is not on the menu for you. That's not a choice for you. You're going to choose this or that. I would go with the raw meat. I would go with the raw meat, especially if you're in like a high impact sport, like a martial art or football or something like that. Yeah, I think the raw meat would be better. If you're into something like track, basketball, soccer, or something like that, I'm going to go with the Beyond. I'm going to go with the Beyond Burger. I'm going to say the Beyond Burger is way better, right? Lifestyle. If we're talking about longevity as a human, I'm gonna say you might not like that. You might want to figure out a way to get away from the Beyond and the Raw. You know, like that. We might want to check out third option. No, I had definite family. You know, I definitely appreciate you asking. Hopefully that translates into more people sending me some cash apps, some support for the family. EnQi, where was you at? We missed you. I was dealing with crazy stuff. But just know that for one moment was I off. There's not one moment, no matter what I was dealing with, that I wasn't still working at home for y'all. That's why I managed to put out a book or two. I still managed to get out a couple of books. So that means I was still working like a savage as I was processing my grief. A lot of my grief went into the book. You know what I'm saying? But in the book, we still have a lot of profound information. In fact, I wasn't even going to release the book. I sent the book to a homeboy and a homegirl, and I was like, yo, what you think about this? Skim this for me real quick. And it was like, yo, this is crazy. This might be your best book. You never talk about yourself in the book. I was like, because that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be talking about the, you know, whatever. He's like, no, but people want to hear this. I was like, all right, well, I'll put my moment of personal vulnerability out. You know what I'm saying? And let people judge me on it. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm sure they will, because people are ruthless. People are ruthless. Right? But like I said, the book is crazy. The information, because there's a reason why. And let me tell you, my anger started with the Kemetic folks, and this is a long time ago. Remember, the Amun Ra people, they set themselves up as if they was Kemetic scholars, even though eventually I proved that none of them practiced Kemetic teachings, right? But they fooled the community into believing this is a group of Kemetic scholars. Out of the whole group of maybe 10 of them, maybe 1 or 2 of them was really like Kemetic scholars. The rest of them was fraud, right? But I'm saying to myself, the most cherished ritual, the most central ideology in all of Kemetic science is to protect your heart, right? So how is it that we got all these Kemetic scientists running around and none of them is talking about heart disease? I say, yo, this is how you could tell they frauds. Forget about they telling you about archaeology and all that. The most important thing in the Kemetic universe to the Kemetic people was protecting their heart. Their whole religious ideology was centered around protecting your heart. And today, the #1 killer in the world is heart disease. So why isn't that we got Kemetic scholars that's making a dent in heart disease? In fact, I'm the only one that's out here on the fight heart disease front line. I'm using the PAPRI, I'm using the Bible, I'm using science, the journals. I'm using anything that what? It's a war going on outside no man is safe from, right? Because the Muslims is dying from heart disease. Listen to what I'm saying. Muslims, Catholic, Christian, Buddhists, right? The Jewish folks, the 7-day event. Well, let me not violate the 7-day Adventists. The 7-day Adventists got something going on, right? But for the most part, all of these, the Hebrew Israelites, oh my God, forget about it. They terrible, right? But all of these different groups, heart disease is not like they all getting heart disease. They all getting diabetes and cancer. And I'm saying the core aspect of us trying to be better people, we got to deal with disease. That's why the second book, right? Melanin versus Diabetes, book 2. What did we address? In Melanin versus Diabetes, book 2, we addressed, right? We got like 60 books on Amazon now. The second book we put on Amazon. The second book was about the connection from cardiovascular disease to mental illness. The reason why mental illness is going through the roof is because cardiovascular disease is going through the roof. Now, the people that want to keep you dumb, they will say, oh, no, mental illness don't got nothing to do with your body, and da, 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 da. I say, well, how is it that psychiatrists prescribe you medicine? Why do they prescribe you drugs? If the mental illness has nothing to do with your physical body, why would they give you a physical medicine? Why wouldn't they just talk you back into health? Why wouldn't they just emotion you back into health? Why wouldn't they just conversate you back into health? Why are they giving you physical pills? Because physical pills change physical biochemistry. So the moment that we start to notice that certain mental illnesses is, you're not having enough frontal lobe blood flow. You're producing too much serotonin, not enough serotonin. So they got serotonin inhibitors, serotonin boosters, GABAergic neuron inhibitors, boosters. And once they start messing with your neurochemistry and your biochemistry, that tells anybody that has a brain, wait a minute, mental illness is physical illness. The symptoms show up as mental abnormalities, but the actuality, what generates those mental and emotional abnormalities are actual physical, neurochemical, or even structural differences, right? Structural differences. When you get the autism book, we go through the structural differences in the autistic brain versus a normal brain. Yeah, there's structural differences. Why they're saying there's no known cure and this is and that for autism, if you compare, which they've done, you can go, oh, well, wait, this is different, this is different, this is different. Let's look at the nutrition. Oh, wow, they don't have this, they're deficient in this. Oh, wait a minute. Why aren't we addressing this? Then that's where the devil's in the details. Pun intended. Devil's in the details, right? So I always just had that, like, yo, it seems like there's blind spots in certain people's information and what they're presenting to the people. And it seems like the blind spots is the thing that folks supposed to be paying attention to. And if you continuously overlook the most important thing that you should be, like, the biggest contribution that the Kemetic folks have made to the world is medical science. Literally. So if you're a Kemetic scholar, but you don't deal with the medical contribution that they made to the rest of the world, what are you doing? You just making up chakra pyramid, alien philosophy. That's what most of these guys, they secretly, they into something else. They into something else. I'm telling you about aliens. Wait, have you noticed that I just look at my track record? You notice that I don't do the alien videos. Y'all like, EnQi, you should have more views on your channel. I don't do chakra in the anus. I don't do alien videos. I don't care how much the news. Oh, yeah, they just had a Senate meeting that they showed it was 32 sightings of aliens in Seattle. Like, that's not going to be on my channel. That's not going to be on my channel. Right? I don't have time for that. Because while you getting distracted talking about 32 UFO sightings in Wisconsin, you taking multiple drugs. 200 million people was prescribed opioids last year. My brother died from opioids. I don't have time to worry about alien contact. Y'all talking about alien contact. oh yeah, the aliens really built the pyramids and they seen them in Wisconsin. Hold up, hold on. So you tell, because then I got to look at your whole program now, because there's an overlap. So the chakra people, remember, the ancient chakra people, they might as well have the baby oil because they've been promoting the mushrooms and the ayahuasca. So they on the mushrooms, the ayahuasca, gateway drugs, right? While they doing the chakra thing, and then they come to the conclusion in this state of mind, once they start to using all types of entheogens, now they come to the conclusion that the earth is flat and it's aliens in Wisconsin. Okay. Okay. I'm cool. What I know for sure is it's medication in your cabinet. I know that for sure. I know it's medication in your cabinet. I know that blood pressure high for sure. I know that A1C level is up. See, I know that A1C level is up because I know why you've been at home scared to go outside because aliens is, there's aliens in your backyard in Wisconsin. I got it. So you scared to go outside. So you're not exercising because aliens is going to come and the world is about to end anyway. So you might as well just get high, have sex, and go crazy. Do as thou wilt. Right? You might as well follow Aleister Crowley and Madame Blavatsky because the world is ending anyway. See, my philosophy is different. In my mind, if the world getting ready to end next month, you better drop what you got going on and get right with God. See, that's how, but my mind different than your mind. Your mind might say, hey, the world is ending. I might as well go out with a bang. I'm like, I'm not sure. Go out with a bang. Let's bucket that. That's a possibility, right? I might be down with that to an extent, right? But how's your relationship? Like, how is it that the aliens could be possible, but God is impossible? I'm just saying, like, how is aliens possible, but God is impossible? I just can't fathom it. My mind just don't wrap around it. Like, I can't. So I'm just saying, you prepare for possibility of alien, but you not prepare for possibility of God. God has been documented in every high functioning society since the beginning of time. Right? All these societies. How is it that it's Kemetic scholars that's atheists? How could you be a Kemetic person and you an atheist? I don't understand that. How's that possible? The Kemetic folks wasn't atheists. They either believed in one God or no gods. They was debating like we debating now, but they wasn't debating with no God. They didn't have no debates of that. You had Team Akhenaten and his crew. They was coming in with the one God program. Did you have the other folks with the multiple gods in different cities? They was going to war over the gods, but they did. But if you was to pop up in that time period and be like, there is no God, they will all look at you and just probably kill you immediately. They would immediately identify with you with whatever concept of the evil devil ops. Yeah, they would just, that ain't even a part of the conversation. Just get your, yeah, what do you mean? There's no God. Where you get that from? Where you get that from? Right? Even the shaman in the woods, in the jungle that was popping drugs, and they still, Native Americans, they on peyote, they getting high. They're getting high, and they in their mind, they communing with God though. Like, so I don't get even the Native American movement. Oh, I'm Washita, I'm Moorish, Washita, indigenous Moorish atheist. Huh? Like, I'm with you with all those programs. You Moorish, indigenous, Aboriginal, Washita, Moorish. What's that last one? You say atheist? Now hold up. I can follow you with how all them other things is related. We cooking. You indigenous, check. Aboriginal, check. Native, check. Moorish, check. Okay. I see. I may not agree with everything, but I got it. I see the flow. At one point or another, I might have been interested. I might even been in the program. I'm with you. Atheist. I'm like, hold up. Now you got some splaining to. You got some splaining to do. Which program came in with the atheist part? Is that the Native American came in with the atheist part? The Moors, because the Moors typically, those is Muslim. So yeah, all them Berbers and all them, they was yelling Allah. Yeah, they was yelling Allah with the sword out. They was, so I don't know how you Moorish and atheist. I don't know how that go. And the Native Americans, they seen God, everything had a God. Rabbits had rabbit gods, frogs had frog gods, trees had tree gods. They forget about that. So I don't understand this. I'm just trying to figure out like where these, and guess what the answer is? All these guys is following the devil. The devil is the only force, the only consciousness that would come into a God-filled group of folks and battle them to make them believe that God doesn't exist. And then replace that with what? Anal this, sex with the kids, boom, boom, all this kind of crazy. It's not like, listen, it's not like, so hold on. Let me just posit this. Let me just posit this other possibility, right? So let's say, for instance, folks came in and they start breaking down some science, how religion is fake, God is the devil, blah, blah, blah. We've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, all this is fake. The last 6,000 years of civilization, because the people that built the pyramids, like when we praise the pyramids and we go to pyramids, it's amazing technology and blah, blah, blah. Them folks was all God-fearing people. When they was building the pyramids, when they was blueprinting the pyramids, they was thinking, yo, this God is gonna be proud of us. Like, this is amazing right here. We will praise God. The God's gonna bless this. In fact, we're gonna make shafts in the pyramid so you can connect with certain gods and not like, yeah, they was guarded out. Yeah, they was guarded out. So you can forget about that. So when you praising the pyramids and all that, they did that. If you go back in time to ask them, they would say, no, we did this through God. We didn't do this. We could never have accomplished this without God. So I'm saying, if a group of people comes in and says, all that's fake, right? All that's fake. And then they start doing amazing things in the community. I'm talking about they curing folks, healing folks, folks is getting wealthy and they just an amazing group of humanitarian, philanthropists and teachers and scholars, and it's amazing. I don't know about you, but I personally might sign up on that program. I might be like, well, I don't know. It's getting crazy. I have to check it out. I mean, shit, I don't know. I might have to check it out. Right? Even though if it looked too good to be true, it might be too good to be true. I'm just saying, no, I would have to check it out. But that's not the reality we in. The folks that done told you that God is fake and religion is fake and all this and all that, they came in with the other program. They done came in with all this other stuff that we trying to figure out. Yo, who okay? Like the TK Kirkland, who raised you? Like we like who raised you? Like this is the people that came with that. They came with the anal chakra. Oh, wait a minute. Here's the best one. Because y'all are in love with Billy Carson. Listen, no. I keep telling y'all that Billy Carson is a full-time fool selling dreams at half price. And y'all keep telling me about Billy Carson. Listen, let me explain this to y'all for the last time. Listen, Billy Carson watches. There's a point in time where Billy Carson was stalking me. That's why he got his whole program, right? Think about it. What does he teach about? The Sumerians. What is my name? EnQi. Hello? Wakey. Is this thing on? People be like, yo, EnQi, you know about the Sumerians? I'm saying you be talking about the Bible a lot, but you don't know about the Sumerians. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Just say that again. Just say that whole question again and see how that's a ridiculous question. EnQi, do you know about the Sumerians? Like, I'm sorry. Just say that one more time because you still don't hear yourself asking that question because that's a crazy question. Just ask yourself that. Just say that out loud again. Just come on, try that again. EnQi, stop. How you? See, it's just the way I see things is different. The way I see things is different. My mind works different. When somebody goes to me, right? See, here's a trick they play on you, right? Here's another trick they play on you. They go, look, I could prove to you that the Bible is fake. I could prove to you the Bible is fake because the Bible is about astrology. And they start to going in and they'll show you how the sun and the Southern Cross and the 12 zodiacs and boop, 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 boop. And look at Mark and this one and that one. And these are the 4, this and this and that. If you allow that to tell you that the Bible is fake, you are the fool. Listen, let me explain something to you. As a person that writes books, right? Listen to this. As a person that writes books, let's reduce the Bible down to a book. Let's just say, forget God for a second. Book, right? It's difficult to write a book. Everybody cannot write a book, right? So in order for me to write a book that tells a story, forget about all other stuff for a second. There's a story. It starts with a supernatural force that creates the universe, that creates people, and then it follows these people as they're making more people. And they all over the world, and they going up and down and cheating on folks and jealousy. Everything that we dealing with is all in this story. So it goes generation to generation to generation. So you got a full story here. Then you got a whole nother part to the book, right? Where it's like, there's a really special part that happens in this story. And so you need to tell this part from multiple perspectives. Like this part of the story so crazy, you got to have a few witnesses. Like when people on trial, we all watching YSL, right? The whole Young Thug case. When you get to the important parts, they want to pull up multiple witnesses to really be sure. Like, oh, well, I got 4 witnesses say this. I got 3 witnesses. So when you have a book, it's hard to write a story, right? That's one level. It's way harder to write a story that has another whole level of information encoded into that story, especially when that story, the basic story, is telling you that it's multiple levels of information encoded into this story. Because the Bible tells you, as it is in heaven, as it is on earth. Right? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, right? As it is in the heaven, so it is on earth. So it tells you that. It literally says that. So it doesn't negate it when it says, oh, there's astrology in here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The book says, as it is in heaven, so on earth. It tells you that what's happening above is mimicked in what's happening below. So by you breaking it down and saying, oh, look at this astrology is in here. Look at all of, you're not proving to me that the book is fake. What you're doing is proving to me that the book is realer than I thought. If I only had a surface level understanding and somebody comes along and shows me it's astrology all in here, I'm like, yo, that's hard. That's really difficult to be able to write a story with another story encoded into it. Now, if I add the fact that each one of these words is also a numerical thing, so this is a whole number sequence of number codes that has a storyline associated with astrology, and then there's microbiology and all, every layer of information that's put into the book makes the book more complex, makes the book more difficult to write. It adds more credence to the book, especially when people all over the world swear by astrology. Oh, astrology saved my life. Astrology helped me find my relationship. Astrology did this. I'm like, and so that's in here too? Interesting. Yeah, because I done found some stuff about, I found some math and some, wait, so all this up in here? And you said, wait a minute, I should stay away from this book? Like my mind just don't see it the same way as other folks. When they say, man, Jewish people, they own the whole world. And blah, blah, blah. I mean, whoa. Time out. Are you telling me the people that been studying this book, like they don't even read any other books. They just been studying. So something in this book has led them to master the real estate and the entertainment business. So they got, okay. And so your solution to that is we should stay away from this book again, right? Is that what you're saying? So these folks here, they done got all these blessings and riches and they've been following the program. And guess what? In the book, it says, if you follow the program, I will make sure that you have blessings and riches and wealth and blah, blah, blah. So you saying that the book says, if you follow this book, you're going to have blessings and wealth and blah, blah, blah. And there's a group of people that have been following the book that have blessings and wealth and blah, blah, blah. And so what you're saying is I should not follow the book. I'm going to take that as what you say to me is that I should not have blessings and wealth and all that in my life, because that's just how my mind works, right? So I'm just saying, hey, people have different perspectives, but Billy Carson, listen, Billy Carson is a part of the program. That's why he's so supported on mainstream platforms. He's a part of the program. Okay. The Book of Thoth, right? The Emerald tablets that they promoting. That's not Moses's books. That's not Thoth. That's not Jehudi. That's fake. That book is the hermaphrodite God's Bible. I want to say that to you again. Billy Carson promotes the hermaphrodite God. That's why Billy Carson his channel is so highly supported. The hermaphrodite God. So when you hear all that androgyny, all that double sex, all that other non-binary, that's from that. That's that program. And listen, more power to them. That's why I'm saying you don't have to try to be a Muslim or a Christian if that's what you want. You don't have to do that. There's a place for they got places where that's the program. You could join Billy Carson. Yeah. Get the Emerald tablets, get deep with that. The hermaphrodite God, you could be a spiritual person having a human experience. See, all of that's with that. I don't know if y'all understand what y'all be saying. If you telling people you a spiritual person having a human experience, you over there with that program. Yeah. If you letting people tell you that spirits do not have a sexual gender, and so sexual gender is really an illusion, and that you on over there. Nothing's wrong with what you're saying. I get it. We all got one life to live. You should be doing whatever makes you the best person you could be. I'm just saying, there's a different program. I like the Bible. The Bible doesn't say, it's just a different program. That's all. It's just a different program. The Billy Carson and Brother Rich and Phil Valentine, they got anal chakras, hermaphrodite God. Well, that's over there. That's all I'm saying. Listen, the tablets, let me tell you, that's not true. That's not true. He doesn't swear by the tablets. That's fake. He's selling that idea. When he was on Joe Rogan, he proved he has never even read the tablets. He don't know what's in the tablets. He just know that nobody else read the tablets. So, listen, that's the same as polite with the real estate. Listen, how many times we got to see this same thing over and over before we realize? You cannot be jack of all trades and be a specialist. If you go back and you watch Dr. EnQi, since I was on the corner arguing with people, I was still talking about the science of the black body. That was my main thing. It always has been. Period. Period. Before I became a doctor, before I became a minister, and that was just my hobby, my love, my passion. Period. My daughter got hit by a car. My passion got real. And not only did my passion get real, it intensified my relationship with God. Because the whole world, even my daughter's mother, said that I was insane. If the doctors say, you know, they got the degrees, a master's degree, PhD. If the doctors say she can't heal, she'll never walk again, then that's what it is. We got to accept that. I'm like, yo, I got a different blueprint. And sure enough, when I put my blueprint up against their blueprint failed. My blueprint was successful. My baby that was never supposed to walk again, she in college. She done played on every sports team in high school, went to college, had a baby, still in college. She ain't miss a beat. From my blueprint, the crazy blueprint, you know, the blueprint that said the people with the PhDs and the master's degrees don't know what they're talking about. That blueprint. So I can't be, no matter what somebody presents to me, my experiences in actual life tells me certain things that can't shake. Whether I debate, argument, people, that's only for other people to decide, okay, well, I believe this or that or whatever. But that I've experienced things. Right? So what are you gonna do? I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a real thing, though. That emerald tablets with the hermaphrodite program. Yeah, you over there with that. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all just got to watch out. It's on out here. It's on and popping. Like, it's crazy. Because, listen, let me say this. Because now, guess what? One of the Puff Daddy witnesses, she came out and she said that Puff Daddy is practicing the anus chakra thing. Y'all didn't hear that? She came out and she said Puff Daddy is doing the anus chakra program. I almost fell out. Listen, I almost fell out. In the middle of my grief, that provided me with a little bit of happiness right there. And then I had to look up to God. I said, I'm having a moment. Just relax, champ. Because I wasn't supposed to enjoy that moment where she said she'd been victimized by Puff Daddy because Puff Daddy got some anus chakra rituals he doing. But I did have, you know, a little bit of a good time at the moment. Because I said, you see, I try to tell these folks, I've been telling them, but y'all blinded. People delusional. Y'all believe that a handsome billionaire needs to drug and trick people to have sex. No. If y'all think that, y'all missing this whole thing. Y'all don't see nothing that's going on. If y'all think that Puff Daddy was drugging people because he needed to, a billionaire that still like got his body together and all that, he don't need to trick nobody. He could have sex with any man or woman. He could even leave the country and go find other countries where he could find kids and animals and everything. He's a billionaire. The moment that these folks is knocking folks unconscious and tricking folks and doing all kind of stuff like that, that's because they're practicing satanic rituals. And they need you to be unconscious while those rituals is done. Because you're not a part. See, you got to understand this. If you're not a part of the organization, right? And they kidnap you and do a ritual on you, guess what? Because you're in the middle of the ritual, you would now learn the ritual. You're not supposed to learn the ritual. They can't allow you to learn the ritual. You're not part of the program. They just doing the ritual on you. Yeah. So that's what it is. These is demons that doing rituals on you. So you got to be knocked unconscious so it doesn't. Wait, hold on. Let me stop because I got to end this video. Look, let me just end this video with this. What happens to the people that gets quote unquote kidnapped by aliens? Come on. Come on. Think about it. What happens to all these alien people? They remember being unconscious, right? And they waking up and the aliens are sticking stuff inside their body and all that. Hello? Is this thing on? Listen, them alien abductions is really people that was abducted by satanic. That's just regular people. They waking up. They're not even waking up because they're heavily drugged. But somehow some part of their consciousness is like still, catching a glimpse of what's happening to them while they're supposed to be under. It happens to people during surgery all the time. People under surgery, sometimes they start to come in conscious while they under surgery. And they'll have to give them another dosage to put them back under and all that. This happens during surgery. So, of course, it's happening with do-it-yourself drug of course it's happening. So they catching a little glimpse, and all these folks is wearing crazy masks, right? We done seen the masks that they wear during the rituals. So they wearing these crazy masks and all that. You wake up, you surrounded by all these wild visions, and you doped up on stuff. All them alien abductions is really people catching a glimpse of what's going on to them while they okay. Listen, it took y'all 10 years to find out what I said about these chakras and the anus and all that. Don't keep waiting a long time to understand what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Don't keep waiting a long time to catch on. Okay, you keep waiting too long to catch on. That's the problem. Okay, all these alien abductions is the same thing. They surrounded by people that look, like monsters, demons, the same way, coincidentally, they look when they go to these Tom Cruise parties. What's that? Eyes wide shut. They waking up and they getting, they putting stuff in them and doing all this and all. Traumatic experience. Children that's molested and all that, they have certain type of memories and suppression of and alteration of those memories and all that. That's all part of the psyche. Your mind trying to protect you. Yeah. So these people been driving alone, and think about how the abductions happen. They driving alone, they walking alone, so they always alone. Well, who you think they grabbing to those rituals and all that to? Have you noticed that there's no gangbangers? Hold on, listen to this. Do you notice there's no gangbangers that ever had an alien abduction? There's no gang members. Listen, there's no gang members that have ever woke up with baby oil on their body with their butt sore. That never happened. Why? Because gang members move in packs. They move in groups. Yeah. So that never happens. They together. It's 2, 3 of them, 5 of them, 10 of them. They're together. So they never have alien abductions. That never happens. It's only a person that's, they on drugs, they're all alone, and then all of a sudden they yeah. You better stop playing. Listen, no, that happened to him. He ain't begging to differ. He telling the same story. Yeah, he telling the same story. Yeah, he was all alone, He's one of them people that he promotes that anus chakra thing and all that. Listen, as he was recreating himself, he changed into somebody that the people on the internet that he thought his audience would more appreciate, because He was getting into telling stories and getting like a conservative type of audience. He was starting to get a lot of white folks, a lot of conservatives watching his channel. So he started to modify his story. But remember, he's the original anus chakra guy. He's the guy that was doing specials on it, telling folks, listen, the only way you could be a straight man is if you have gay sex. Like forget about it. And you know, I got the video. I ain't gonna play the video. No, that's too much. It's too much. It's too much. But just do your homework. Like, no. Pharaoh's with that program. Hopefully matter of fact, ain't his mind like, yeah, come on now. That's what happened with that program. Yeah, listen. He like Ozzy Osbourne right now. And think about Ozzy Osbourne. If you know about Ozzy Osbourne, you know that's what he was into. A lot of drugs and, you know, the anal, you know, come on now. That's, yeah. After a while, your mind start to fracture, you know. Your mind start to fracture. Yeah, he went through a physiological, absolutely. No, he went through a psychological. Too much of that alternative reality. You're living in a reality that don't exist. After a while, when you start to create, listen, and I keep saying I'm gonna close with this, and I keep talking, right? But I'm gonna close with this for real. Listen. All of our ancient sciences tell us the world was created through the word, right? You're creating your world with the things that you say. So these guys that's creating these alternative worlds, they got to live in those worlds. These guys creating those alternative worlds for clicks, likes, and views, they got to live in those worlds. So the same way we see rappers making songs about getting killed and all that, and then what happens? They wind up getting killed, and they say, oh man, Biggie predicted his death. You know, he wrote a song about, you know, this and that, or this artist predicted his death. He knew he was going to die, blah, blah, blah. No. He spoke it into existence. That's what happened. He didn't know it was going to happen. He thought he was just saying what would sound crazy to make a hit record. He didn't realize that his words was a prayer. He didn't realize that he spoke that death into existence. So now when you online and you playing with aliens and demons and this and that, you don't realize you're speaking that into existence. You're not speaking that into everybody's existence. You're speaking that into your existence. So as you're speaking that craziness into your existence, and then you tattooing, you know, he tattooed the eye of Heru on his, you know, like you tattooed the eye of Heru on, and you talking about all this alien, this is like, bro, that all them things doesn't go together. See, this is what I was saying about, if you want to be a Christian, there's a certain program that goes with that. If you want to be a Kemetic guy, you want to get the eye of Heru on and all that, you got to live now with Kemetic principles. You got to live with that, or people gonna be like, yo, what happened to such and such? I know what happened to such and such. You stop playing with God. You start playing with God, and then, you know, yeah. If you notice, people that take God seriously, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, this one, that one, a lot of times they have really good long lives. When people start playing around and all that, things be getting real dark. Things get weird. That's all. Hey, things be getting weird. Things be getting weird. So listen, I had a definite family. I've been gone. I'm still processing grief, but I'm here. Help a player out. Help me help you. Send me a few dollars. Hit the Cash App. Go get the book. Go get all the other books, because I know y'all ain't got all the books except for Bayat and Osborne probably. And, you know, if you ain't got the books, go get the books. There's new books out. I may not have been on YouTube, but I never stopped working, researching, studying, and trying to advance the actual culture. Not the fake, not the deaf culture, the life culture. It's two cultures out here. It's the deaf culture. It's the life culture, right? So if you're trying to kill babies and whoop whoop and depopulation, whoop, that's a program. And that's a vibe. I get it. You over there. You with the ops. That's the death culture. You selling liquor, you trying to get folks to drink spirits and all that, and woo, 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 the baby. You over there. I get you. There's rewards to that lifestyle. Yeah, there's rewards to that lifestyle. You could be a star on earth. Can't doubt that. But over here on the life side, we might not be a star on earth. It might be a little difficult. But we might make it to be a star. We might be a star in heaven, though. It's a gamble. You know, you got to play the odds, whatever you're comfortable with. Right? But you can't do both. If you sacrifice to be a star on earth, that's that. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was worth it. Right? Hopefully it was worth it. You did your thing. What can I say? Right? That's how that